forward and play responsibly. Back to you in the studio.
Hey, folks, I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth. Why not start today?
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning diamond pendant, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer. Or maybe you're looking for that perfect gemstone piece or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have hundreds of styles that are ready to be wrapped and put under the tree. No need to wait for shipping. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas before you head to the store, see the online seasonal gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Are you in need of top quality metal for your next project? Look no further than Metal by the Foot. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. The Foot. Blue Demon Welding Supplies, filler rods, and wire. The Foot. Cronius Professional Welding Equipment, service and repairs. The Foot. Located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar! La, 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 la.
Thanks to Total Wine, you saved more on all the gifts for the ones you adore. Wine, spirits, beers, all nestled on shelves.
Curbside pickup available and the lowest prices for over 30 years only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntech and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntech Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to protect against wear and deposits. Get 5 quarts of Syntech Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $32.99. In-store only. Limit supply. Learn more at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
This holiday at T-Mobile, I'm joined by a special co-anchor.
What up, everybody? It's your boy, Big Snoop D-O Double G.
Snoop, let's talk about T-Mobile.
Okay, cool.
This holiday, get 4 lines for $25 a line, plus 4 iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and the all-new camera control on us.
Let's get cracking, like a breakfast egg.
You can use those eggs to make some eggnog, Snoop.
Respect.
And people do love T-Mobile, where you can save on every plan versus the other big guys when you switch.
You know, y'all can take some of those savings and buy some Snoop merchandise.
Always a great stocking stuffer, Snoop.
And we up out of here.
Hold your horses, Snoop D-O Double G. Let's remind people one more time.
Head to T-Mobile.com and get 4 iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us, plus 4 lines for $25. Now drop that J.
With 24-month bill credits for eligible trade-ins and 4 new lines without pay. Well qualified customers plus taxes and fees and $35 per line connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits or credit stop and balance on required finance agreement is due $999.99. Credits end if you pay off device early. See how you can save on wireless and streaming versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence requires iOS 18.1 or later.
Okay, so that's with bacon, cheese, lettuce, tomato, grilled onions, ketchup, and hold the pickles.
You know what you like. You wouldn't order your burger just any way. Why should your sports talk be any different? With Chapters on the free Odyssey app, you can choose the topics that matter to you most. Whether it's reactions, matchup previews, injury updates, or team news, quickly find what you really care about. Your football talk, your way. Download the free Odyssey app and start listening today.
Arvest Bank, believing in the power of serving others.
Arvest Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Arvest. We believe.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Coming up in 30 minutes, we'll check in with Josh Brisco, our Chiefs contributor from ChiefsOnSI.com. Alex Gold, Drew Nixon with you today. So I was driving into work, and for like 3 lights, I would say, I was behind the same car, right? So driving in, I don't know, it's what, maybe 8:15-ish this morning or so. Heading in, Shawnee Mission Parkway, heading to a couple lights. And there's like a blue, I don't know, it was like a Ford Focus or something. And the first time I was like, what was that? And then I saw it happen 2 other times. So anytime this car in front of me got at a stoplight, there was a woman driving and there was a male in the passenger seat. Every stoplight, I would see the male kind of lean over and with a spoon and feed what I assume to be his wife or girlfriend. Was it oatmeal, yogurt? I'm not sure, but
something.
I legit started just like laughing. The first time I was like, what? And then it kept happening. And look, I don't know, some of you maybe think, oh, that's cute or whatever. That's weird. That's weird, right? And you're married, Drew. You tell me, like, do you feed your wife while she's driving? It was just very, and I don't know, like, was he eating the oatmeal and then said, hey, you want some? And then but he was like feeding her like a child.
I think you would need more context to the story to fully understand it. But traditionally, like if I'm at a stoplight and we're eating in the car, we have food in the car, I'll take a bite. Normally, my wife is not going to feed me at a stoplight. However, if we're driving, like going home for Christmas, for example, stop at a spot to get some gas and then get some food as well. If we're going, like, I'm not going to have her hold like a sandwich up to me, but if I want to fry, like, hey, can you give me, or like, if I need
hand me a fry or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
She might just like put the fry up and just put it in my mouth or whatever. Like that's
sure.
That's the extent of it.
I think a fry, you could just
spoon feeding me though. I don't know about the whole spoon feeding.
The fry,
thing,
though, you can just reach in the bag anyway and grab one. You have to be looking in the bag. Like, we've all done that. Like, you just reach in the bag and grab a fry while you're driving kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the yogurt, obviously, you're not – I think it was oatmeal or something. I
can understand it. I can understand where it's coming from, but I agree that you need more context of it. It's like, oh, yeah, I was just feeding him. Okay. Or I was just, hey, do you want a bite of this? Yeah, that I can understand a little bit more.
Like, were they running late to work? What was going on there? It was either yogurt or oatmeal. Someone says, Gold, you're just mad. You don't have someone feeding you while you drive. I'm good. I'm good on that. Yeah.
Someone from the 913 says, zero situation where my wife needs to place food into my mouth.
This is the theory. This is a good theory. 913-586-7965. Someone says maybe she just got her teeth removed and was feeding her applesauce. Someone else says not weird at all. That's the first person that says it's not weird.
I think it's weird a little bit, but I can understand from the standpoint of, like, if we're driving on the road and, like, hey, can you open this for, like, if we're...
Well, sure.
Yeah, like, if we stop at a stoplight, I can open up my drink or whatever if I got, like, a bottle of soda or a bottle of water. But if I'm driving, like, hey, can you open this for me real quick? Like, I get that, and she's not pouring... My wife is not, as I'm driving, holding the bottle up to my mouth and pouring soda or whatever in my mouth. No, I just need it to be open, please.
Yeah, we've all been driving, and you've been on a road trip, and you have someone else in the car, and there's, like you said, there's a bottle that needs to be opened or something, a Gatorade or whatever, and like you need it to be open.
So
but this is
she doesn't have any hands. She's driving.
Okay.
She's driving.
Okay.
The
someone
woman
says
was
at
driving.
least she was being safe and not being distracted while eating, but getting fed by her boy toy. Look, she wasn't distracted. That's true. She waited till they got to a stoplight. It was just, I had not seen that before, and it was just funny to me and a little weird as I was driving in.
Somebody makes a good point. The spoon, using a spoon to eat food in the car is already a little bit of an odd thing. I guess unless it's yogurt, it makes sense, but can you not wait to eat the yogurt until you get to your destination? Or Someone said they've held dipping sauces for the wife, but never fed her the nugget. Exactly.
The mystery here for me is, if it was, let's say, oatmeal, Was he just actively eating it and then said, "Hey, you want some?" Or was he holding it the whole time while she was driving?
You said it happened 3 times. So
three different times. Was he holding it the whole time and every stoplight he was feeding her? Or was it one of those, like, he's just eating and it's like, "Hey, honey," and here you go. Here you go.
It would have only happened one time. It would have only happened once if it was just a, "Hey, do you want this?" Three times, 3 different stoplights. He was definitely feeding her.
Anyway, I saw that this morning. So if you're listening and you drive a blue, what looked like Ford Focus or something, please let me know. I'm fascinated by it. But I'm well, good for both of you. Good for both of you. Hope you guys have a good morning and good rest of the day as well. 913-586-7965. All right, last night was actually a really good Thursday night football game, and it involved 2 AFC West teams, the Chargers and the Broncos. By now, you guys know the Chargers won that game, and they have, a 97% chance now to make the postseason. If they win one of their final 2, they're automatically in, and even if they weren't, they have some other scenarios they can get in. They're 9-6. The Broncos are also 9-6. And it was a Chargers team that came back. It looked like for a while there, the Broncos maybe were going to blow them out. It was an impressive start for Denver. The Chargers weren't doing a whole lot. Their defense was giving up plenty of yards through the air and on the ground. And credit the Chargers. In the second half, their defense buckled down, and the Chargers get the win. There was also, for the first time since the 70s, a free kick, which was just kind of cool. I feel like it was weird. Like there was almost anticipation with it that we just normally don't get.
Yeah.
And Cam Dicker made it, and it was a Broncos error. That really changed the entire game. I know it sounds silly to talk about a free kick, but basically there was a punt, and there was not much time left on the clock. There was going to be 0 seconds, actually, but there was fair catch interference, 15-yard penalty, so the Chargers then got the ball in field goal range, and you're able to do an untimed down. If you fair catch it, you can do a drop kick or a free kick, and we don't see it happen because normally teams will choose a Hail Mary or you're just not in field goal range, and so on a penalty like that. So it was definitely something we haven't seen before. That's why you joked earlier about my tweet. I'm like, now we know how the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. Justin Reed's going to kick a free kick, and the Chiefs are going to go 3-peat. That's the scenario that's going to happen.
The Twitter would lose it. Harrison Butker gets a free kick. Everybody's throwing their hands up. Are you kidding me? Of course it has to end this way. Yeah.
So that was bizarre. I think the Denver Broncos are still going to make the postseason, but they have Cincinnati and they have Kansas City in that Week 18 game. I think if you're a Chiefs fan, you should have been hoping the Broncos would have won last night, because then it would have made it far more likely that the Broncos would not need to play their starters Week 18. In the scenario that the Chiefs have to also win Week 18, you would, of course, like to be going up against Zach Wilson instead of Bo Nix. Now, if Denver hasn't clinched anything Week 18 and you need to clinch something Week 18, you're going to probably be playing their starters. That's why it would have been more preferable for the Broncos to have won that game. Watching both those teams, though, in terms of what could they do in the playoffs, I still don't think the Chargers are anywhere where they were 5 weeks ago. And the second half, Jesse Minter, their defensive coordinator, got them playing a lot better football. They've got some injuries. Justin Herbert was really good last night, again, even with the bad ankle. And one throw in particular that was pretty sensational. For those that kind of love to hate on Justin Herbert, that was a big-time performance from him last night. I still watch them without J.K. Dobbins, who maybe they get back before the playoffs. They don't seem as dangerous with Harbaugh. Like, can the Chargers, if they end up, and it looks like they're going to avoid the 7th seed now based off the win last night. They're the 6th seed. They would right now go to Pittsburgh. Can the Chargers go to Pittsburgh and win? It's far more likely than if you're the 7th seed Broncos, let's say, and you got to go to Buffalo. I don't see how the Chargers or the Broncos, whoever ends up being the 7th seed, is going to Buffalo and getting a win. Like, I don't believe that's happening based off of what we saw recently and last night. That is not the same Chargers defense, and I think Bo Nix hasn't been playing quite as sharp as he was 3 weeks ago, basically. So neither of those teams, to me, are really a threat at all. What's interesting now is just how the playoff stuff ends up. And you came in with a little smile on you, a little smirk on your face, and for some reason, everybody's talking about this Cincinnati scenario like it's no big deal for them to get in. Like, oh, here they go.
It is still very difficult.
Cincinnati still has to win 3 games. The Broncos have to lose
the next two.
And the Colts or Dolphins have to lose at least one. Both have to lose one game. So, like, why is everybody acting like this is like some easy scenario? Your Cincinnati Bengals are not making the playoffs, buddy. They're not making the playoffs. I don't want you to be disappointed again.
Oh, okay. Look, I don't know if I can be any more disappointed than I have been. Like, look, if they barely miss it, fine. It'll be annoying that they don't get as good of a pick, I guess. But I've already been disappointed already with how the bad start was. I've already been through so much. Give us a little bit of hope here, you know? I do think it is interesting that there's so much that has to fall in place. It'll be really interesting to see what happens this weekend, though, with the Colts playing against the Titans. Mason Rudolph is playing. Cody is picking the Titans to win the game.
Okay.
San Francisco still fighting for a playoff spot, along with the Dolphins, of course. But San Francisco, you think if they can put it together, they're a better team than what Miami has shown. If they they could come out of this weekend where that 9% chance now that it is all of a sudden like
15%.
15 or 20%. Because if, say, the Colts and Dolphins lose, they're out. It's all of a sudden just between Denver and Cincy.
You shouldn't
they play each other next weekend.
You shouldn't even be worrying about it until it gets to week 18 and there's an actual scenario where they can win and the Chiefs are still trying to beat the Broncos. If it actually got to that point, then I can understand you have hope.
Yes.
The Broncos, the Bengals have 6 wins all year. So forgive me for not thinking that they're just automatically winning the next 3 games.
No, I think your point is very valid. Obviously, I will say that on a week-to-week basis, things can change in the way that you said that Denver's hasn't been playing that great. If the Bengals take care of business this weekend and they beat the Browns, of course they have to do that. But next weekend could be a massive game where Chiefs fans, to your point, ironically, could be cheering for the Broncos to win that game,
of course,
so that they're not in that position where they have to play all of the starters for Denver
I
in
was
order
rooting
to try to get to the 1 seed.
I was rooting for Denver last night.
Oh, yeah, right.
For the same reason.
Exactly.
For the same reason. Look, there is a funny scenario here that, considering everything we've discussed this football season, that admittedly would give me a lot of joy because it would also hurt your Bengals draft stock. Everything you need to happen happens until Chiefs and Broncos game. So your Bengals win the next 2 weeks.
They beat Denver.
They beat Denver, and it's week 18, and Cincinnati's up in their game that's also at noon. And the Dolphins and Colts have already lost a game the week before. And the Chiefs are playing for the 1 seed because maybe they drop one to the Steelers. And the Broncos also are playing for a playoff spot. And the Chiefs don't need to play for a playoff spot that game. And the Chiefs lose to Denver because they already have the 1 seed locked up. I'm sorry. And then Cincinnati comes that close. And it's the Chiefs, actually. It's the Chiefs that actually knock the Bengals out. That'd be great.
What would make me more sick to my stomach, I'm going to be totally honest, if the Chiefs have to play their starters in the final week of the season, and so does Denver, and for some reason, amidst all of the starters playing for the Chiefs, Denver still wins that football game, I would be so frustrated because that's going to be the weirdest dichotomy of
the Colts have a better chance to make the playoffs than them, man. The Dolphins have a better chance even.
Agreed.
That's what's funny. Like, and I heard even Amazon Prime's broadcast last night. I think it was Whitworth and Gonzalez and everybody up there, and they're talking like as if like something magically changed for Cincy last night. No. They have to win 3 games, and they need everybody else to lay an egg.
The easier path was opened up last night because if the Broncos had won that game last night, they would have needed the Chargers to lose to to Vegas and then
Patriots.
Yeah, which that wasn't going to happen unless there was a serious meltdown. Plus, they needed the Colts and the Dolphins to lose again as well. So yeah, there's still a lot that has to get. We'll wait until we get by this weekend, and then we'll. My smile might be a little bit.
That'd be funny,
bigger, or it could also be
Dorian Thompson-Robinson and the Browns just beat Cincinnati. Just end it this weekend.
I would be
stop
pissed.
with the nonsense.
That would really bother me.
Stop with the nonsense. All right, there was an email that I think a lot of us will get sent at the station. I think Carrington gets on the same email list, and probably everybody at the station. We get these emails from Offshore books, like a PR staff from these offshore books like Bovada, and they always have random odds, right? Like who's the next head coach to be fired or who's most likely to land on this team. And we got an email yesterday from Bovada about who's the favorite to trade for wide receiver Garrett Wilson in the offseason. Garrett Wilson, for those that aren't familiar, he's very talented.
The
young,
Jets Garrett Wilson.
Yes.
Okay.
Very talented young wide receiver for the New York Jets, Garrett Wilson. That Garrett Wilson. And they send the odds. The Chiefs are 3-1, the favorite to trade for him, according to them. Then Houston's 5-1, the Bears 5-1. Baltimore, Denver, and the Chargers are sitting at 6-1. One, I was pretty stunned to see the Chiefs were favorites. I get why on free agents on these odds the Chiefs are favorites a lot of times because when you're defending champs and stuff, a lot of people assume players want to come sign with you, right? Makes sense. Trading for Garrett Wilson only makes sense if you think two things are happening. Number one, somehow Garrett Wilson's value is way off. And he, at his age, which is not very old, and needing a new contract, somehow he only goes for like a second or third. Remember, the Chiefs, I don't believe, have a second-round pick. I know they have a first, they have a third, the L'Jarius Sneed trade.
Yeah.
I don't believe you're getting Garrett Wilson for less than a first. So that's the first problem. The other part, which goes hand in hand, is you would need DJ Humphries to finally play a game again, look really good during the playoff run, and potentially lead them to a Super Bowl as their left tackle. The Chiefs then feel confident enough to sign him to another one-year deal in the offseason, so that left tackle is fine for next year, to where they wouldn't need to utilize that first-round pick on a left tackle. That's like the only scenario where you can talk me into it. Garrett Wilson's a really talented receiver, but you got to pay him also. He's at the point where he's going to be due a new extension. So next year, the wide receiver room, potentially, you'll bring back Rashee Rice. Now, he might miss the first 6 to 8 weeks. We'll see due to suspension. We don't know. Xavier Worthy, of course, will be back. Could they bring Hollywood Brown back on a one-year deal? Let's see what he looks like. He hasn't even played a game yet.
D-Hop, maybe?
D-Hop, maybe. He's getting older, though. But maybe he's an option on a one-year deal. There's other guys under contract. I don't know what the future holds for Sky Moore. We just kind of know where he's at this point in time, but he's technically under contract next year. So that they will need another wide receiver if they don't bring back a Hollywood Brown or a D-Hop. But to me, just use one of your draft picks at that point or find another veteran to sign. I'm not a big fan of this at all, and it's not saying it's going to happen. It's just they're the favorite to land Garrett Wilson. Do you disagree with me on this? 913-586-7965, because I understand they will need to go find another wide receiver in the offseason just because of numbers. But they don't need to go give up a first-round pick and pay a wide receiver when they don't have their left tackle of the future potentially on the roster, unless you think Kingsley is going to develop. I think there's a chance in year 3 for Kingsley they could give him another opportunity. I don't know how they're going into next season thinking Kingsley's the left tackle.
Are we sure that the Jets don't want to do this because Garrett Wilson's Madden rating isn't too good for Woody Johnson?
That's a good point. Maybe the owner doesn't like it.
But no, I think you're right, because you have to look at what else you have potentially coming up. Like, obviously you have Mahomes and all the contract stuff, but you're going to have to pay Trent McDuffie. And I think that they're going to do that. Rashee Rice is going to get a contract eventually. You're going to have to do that. Xavier Worthy, you just got him. He seems to be the goods, at least to be a number 2 wide receiver down the line. I don't think it makes any sense for the amount of money that you would have to pay a Garrett Wilson, along with, hey, do we pay George Karlaftis? Do we extend Charles Omenihu? We know we're going to pay Trent McDuffie. Like, all of these things that you have to talk about with money, and obviously I don't know the numbers, so I don't know how they could navigate it. They might be able to bring all of them back for all I care, and get Garrett Wilson, or for all I know. But weighing the options, is that, to your point, the actual biggest need for this team? Would it be better for them if they don't bring Omenihu back to get another pass rusher, to get a left tackle to solidify that offensive line? Because in the end, you can say it doesn't matter who Patrick Mahomes is throwing to. As long as Patrick Mahomes is healthy, then he can throw to anybody. It doesn't have to be Garrett Wilson for them to win, as he's shown before.
And Garrett Wilson will be 25 next season. So
I think he's great, but I don't know if it's worth paying him knowing you have the other guys you got to pay for.
Some teams should. I just don't think it should be the Chiefs. Like, somebody will, because
Houston makes some sense.
25-year-old wide receivers with what he's done and also not the best situation get paid. I mean, that's just how this thing goes. He's got right now a contract 4 years for 20. I mean, it's his rookie deal. He's going. It's that time.
Two more years left.
There's the club option, right, or the player option, or the team option, I should say.
Okay.
In 2026, but for guys like that, they don't play it out. Usually, you get the deal done before. So whoever trade,
unless you're the Bengals and Jamar Chase.
We also don't know if he's getting traded. This is just
correct.
Bovada sent out an email with odds for Garrett Wilson's next team if it's not the Jets.
There haven't been any rumblings, right? There's been nothing other than this.
Other than the Jets being terrible and wondering whether they're going to have a new GM and they're going to have a new head coach next year, and who knows what their quarterback's going to be.
Why would they get rid of Garrett? To me, that wouldn't make. If there's one guy that you keep, like you keep Breece Hall and you keep Garrett Wilson. I think everybody else is up for grabs, I would say. But maybe Quinnen Williams you don't get rid of either.
Someone on the text line says, if you had to guess, what do they base these odds off of? So sometimes with the offshore odds, there's definitely an angle of trying to get attention. That does happen sometimes with the offshore books. for some of the crazier ones that are out there. Like when a coach vacancy happens and there's some bizarre names, it's usually to get people talking. I don't think that's what this is, but a lot of times if there's a free agent available or there's a potential trade, whoever the top teams are in the league at that time usually are at the top of the list. Like the thought is that team would either be a player away, if you're talking about like Buffalo or something like that, from going ahead and winning a title, or you're a player that's a free agent, like, of course that player would want to go play for the Chiefs, right? Because they win championships or whatever it may be. So that's why the Chiefs, and look, they will need another receiver next year. Just the numbers. I mean, we just went through it. You're going to have Rashee Rice back, but he might be gone for 6 or 8 weeks. You'll have Worthy. There's 2 receivers. You don't have a ton of guys locked up long-term in the receiver room. It's Rice and Worthy. So to me, I would rather just draft a receiver in the 3rd round or whatever it is, 2nd round. I guess they do have a 2nd-round pick, right? You draft a receiver in a mid-round pick, and that 1st-round pick needs to be used either to draft a left tackle, but I don't know if there is one to draft, or you do the Orlando Brown Jr. trade type of thing again, which was trade the 1st-round pick to another team that has an existing left tackle that's a year away from getting paid and go that path. But that's why I brought up the DJ Humphries thing. The DJ Humphries scenario, if he finally plays against Pittsburgh and looks good during the playoffs, that's a big if, then maybe that's a guy you can bring back for another 1-year deal in the offseason, and then you can say, all right, we've got another year to figure this thing out. We don't have to go trade for a tackle. That, to me, should be your hope as a Chiefs fan right now, is that for this year, Humphrey does it so they can win a Super Bowl, but that he's good enough and they're able to bring him back if he's good enough on a 1-year deal, and then you don't have to go spend another draft pick on a left tackle, and you get another year to try to develop Kingsley behind them.
Well, and maybe to the DJ Humphries angle, if you know that you don't have to go and get a tackle, maybe instead of bringing in Garrett Wilson, you use that for you trade up and you get a Tyler Warren from Penn State if Kelsey is gone. Or you trade up and you get another wide. You trade up and you find a way maybe to get a Luther Burden if his stock is actually falling into the later part of the 1st round. Like using that for another player that you got more control over, who's younger, maybe not as great as Garrett Wilson, but somebody who in your offense can really fit that mold. It sounds like you would almost rather bring back, I'm going to use D-Hop in this example because I think it's more realistic. If they bring back D-Hop, they draft a guy in the 2nd or 3rd round, and their wide receiver room then is, let's say they use a 1st-round pick on a left tackle, or they trade it for a left tackle, whatever. Their wide receiver room would then be Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, whatever pick they have, and DeAndre Hopkins, which I think people can live with, where you wouldn't have to play D-Hop 60%. Like whatever he's getting right now would be good enough next season.
D-Hop would probably be cheaper in this scenario. A lot of this depends on the...
Just use him as a situation guy.
Cheaper between him and Hollywood Brown. I mean, it depends on the playoffs, I think. You know what? It's easy to say now, but let's say either guy, D-Hop or Hollywood Brown, let's say they have a great postseason, especially Hollywood Brown, because we just haven't seen. His first game is going to be tomorrow in a Chiefs uniform other than the preseason game. If he has a great postseason, they'll be, on one hand, you'll be like, man, got to bring him back. On the other hand, other teams will be like, okay.
How much do we have to pay him to...
Yeah, because the whole idea, remember, when they signed him on a great 1-year deal was, all right, he's going to have a chance to have a massive season, and he's going to go get paid, whether it's in Kansas City or somewhere. Well, unfortunately, that plan didn't pan out. He suffers the injury in preseason, and we all know he doesn't play. So now is he signing another 1-year deal next year? I think some of it depends on the postseason. In a weird way, if Hollywood Brown is back next year, like the way he comes back is if he almost doesn't have a huge postseason. Like if he's actually a big impact in the postseason, don't you think it's less likely he's actually back financially? Between the two receivers, I would rather have... I think Hollywood Brown back next year if he does what I think he can still do for this team. And that's more of an age thing. DeAndre Hopkins has been terrific, and thank goodness they traded for him. But he will be another year older by the time we get to next August and September. So interesting stuff. We'll talk about that maybe with Joshua Brisco as well. Up next, we'll talk with our Chiefs contributor, Brisco from Chiefs on SI, get his perspective on Chiefs-Texans, what to expect out of that game. And an embargo was lifted today, Drew. An embargo for a documentary involving the Chiefs officially lifted. We can talk about it. That's next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan, Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. A letter in your mailbox says you could save money bundling your home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. You saw it after your teenager backed the car into the mailbox. Dumb news. A new mailbox, basically a box on a stick, costs up to $400. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and go with paperless mail instead. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan and the other place, especially with these amazing game day specials. 14-inch two-topping pizzas for just $12 and $4 domestic OP cups. The other place with 5 great Kansas City Metro locations.
Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer? You want the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. That's KCPI, the Kansas City Proton Institute. KCPI has a full suite of the most advanced imaging and treatment technology necessary to localize high-intensity proton beams. That's a critical part of maximizing cure rates while minimizing recovery time and long-term side effects. Proton therapy provides patients with the most advanced form of radiation treatments for cancer. It destroys cancer cells with supreme accuracy, reducing the risk of harmful side effects. KCPI has Kansas City's first and only system that uses pencil beam technology, resulting in precision targeting and less radiation to your surrounding healthy tissue. Proton therapy is now available in the comfort of an office at KCPI, making it more efficient and affordable than a hospital. So contact KCPI for the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. Don't wait. Get precision technology with the highest safety measures with KCPI. Online at kcpi.com.
Kansas City is Sean Barber. You know there's nothing easier than to enjoy watching the Chiefs with some wings and an ice-cold Bud Light. And Buffalo Wild Wings is serving up both for every game, all season long. Join me at Buffalo Wild Wings off I-70 in Little Blue Parkway in Independence, Friday, December 20th. I'll be there from 6 to 8 p.m. celebrating the back-to-back Super Bowl champs while eating some wings and drinking $5 Bud Lights. Nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
For more, go to 965thefan.com. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
What is GMTVCC? It's a mouthful, but translation for GMTVCC.com is Give Me the VIN Classic and Collector Cars. It's a brand new buying division of Give Me the VIN, but it's for classic and collector cars. Experienced pro buyers will appraise an offer on your 1970 Hemi Cuda or 1988 Fox Body Mustang or your granddad's old 1985 square body Chevy truck. GMTVCC.com is where you go to get real money for classic and collector cars to get paid now. That's GMTVCC.com, brought to you by Give Me the VIN.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Meet Cheryl.
Hey.
She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
You can listen to the play-by-play of the Chiefs and Texans game with Mitch, Danon, and Kling right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock hour, it's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Drew Nixon with you here on a Red Friday in KC. We'll get to the trash of the day in 20 minutes. Also, during the Chiefs Red Half Hour at 11:30, Patrick Creighton from Sports Radio 610 in Houston going to join me. We'll get the Houston Texans perspective, not only on what they see from the Chiefs, but what's been going on this year for that Houston team. Very, very high expectations, and yeah, they won the division, but I think it's been disappointing overall for Texans fans in particular. That offensive line, C.J. Stroud against the blitz last year was a top 5 quarterback. This year, he's one of the worst against the blitz. So that's coming up a little bit later on. But let's go out to the sunny beaches of Cancun. He's nice enough to join us despite being on vacation. We said you don't have to do it, man, but he loves the Chiefs so much. Joshua Brisco, our Chiefs contributor from ChiefsOnSI.com, joins us. He's presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue. I mean, I hope you're just sitting already having maybe a mimosa or something on the beach.
I have taken a few opportunities, not this morning, but so far in the last however long we've been here, 36 hours or something, I have had a few different tequilas. So I am making good use of my time. But not only do I love talking about the Chiefs, I love talking to you. And that's really what's got me here today.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in, man. I definitely do. So the story all week was no doubt the ankle injury, and then it turned out to almost like not be a big deal. Suddenly, once Mahomes opened his mouth and started talking on Tuesday, it was like, all right, yeah, that guy's playing.
Yeah, it's wild, and I don't know, man. Maybe this is a little bit on us that we, and I think we had the appropriate skepticism from the jump that he was going to in any way respond like a normal football player, or even more so a normal quarterback. When he did go out with the injury, we knew he could have probably returned to the game. But even then, like, I don't ever want to get numb to what we're watching with Patrick Mahomes, and usually that's a conversation about what's happening on the field. I also maybe I took it for granted, but I continually tried to remind myself that he is a human being, not an alien sent from another universe to conquer the sport of football here on this planet. But then he bounces back from something like that, and of course we'll see how he looks on that ankle. Maybe it's going to be a little bit more laborious for him, but by and large, man, it really is remarkable that he finds ways to completely change expectations, even for things like injury recovery. It's really remarkable.
The time frame of this whole thing is complicated, though, and that's why I think there was some skepticism, just because, hey, you're going to play Saturday, and we all know they got to play Wednesday against the Steelers. That's been my thought the whole week, though. It's not this game on Saturday is, to me, the one you have to have. We know they only need 2 of them, but this is the one you have to have because you win this game, then you only need to win 1 out of the next 2, but also, like, the turnaround from Saturday to Wednesday, not just for everybody that's quote-unquote healthy, but for that ankle. I mean, that thing is going to be barking on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, I would imagine, even if he doesn't get rolled up on again. So that's why I feel like tomorrow is so massive to get the win.
No, I agree. I mean, and obviously this is probably, again, pretty evident, but especially with Mahomes pushing through to play in this game. Like, you could have talked me into some world where Carson Wentz gets to start. It's more of a coin flip type of game. I mean, every Chiefs game feels like a coin flip, so what does that change? But, like, you really go in and say, we're comfortable with the idea of maybe not winning this game for the sake of getting a healthier Mahomes against Pittsburgh, and then knowing we're probably going to have to win this game against Denver. Instead, with Mahomes out there gutting it out, noting that I'm with you, I think he might look more mobile against the Texans than he's going to look against the Steelers on Christmas, especially on how the Texans game actually goes. So being able to watch Mahomes push through this, get Hollywood Brown back, all of the things that the Chiefs are benefiting from. Obviously, left tackle still a little bit of a loss there because Humphrey still being out. But to have everything pushed into this game on Saturday where the Chiefs really seem to say, we're going for it, this is a game that matters, we're going to treat it like a game that matters. If they do all of that, push all those chips in, and then lose to Houston, it really would take a lot of air out, because now suddenly you maybe had one or two opportunities to give Patrick Mahomes a little time off on that ankle. Now you're not getting a regular season game off, and the one seed itself becomes questionable, because I think that Steelers game on Christmas is going to be a nail-biter. Again, every Chiefs game is, so maybe that's obvious.
We're talking to Josh Brisco, our Chiefs contributor from Sports Illustrated. Are you with me on DJ Humphries, where it's like, hey, I want to see one more game from Humphries. We know it's not going to be tomorrow. Maybe it is the Steelers game. I want to see one more game, because still I believe their best O-line is Humphries at left tackle and then Tooney at left guard. Tooney did a great job considering what they're asking this guy to do. He's not a left tackle. He's a left guard, and they're asking him to play left tackle. But you go and get average left tackle play from Tooney, and then you get maybe average left guard play, even though Caliendo graded out really well, versus getting average left tackle play from Humphries and then all-pro left guard play from Tooney. I'd rather have that, and we haven't seen that except for like 3.5 quarters in the first game for DJ Humphries.
Yeah, I think that's probably where the Chiefs' head is at, too, in terms of you can either kind of build they talk all the time about the best five. You can kind of build your best five by trying to figure out who has the highest ceiling and who has the highest floor. I think the highest floor right now might be Tooney at left tackle, Caliendo at guard, and then you just wait and see with Humphries. But the highest ceiling is certainly, to your point, Humphries, Tooney, and then the rest. And so I do think, and Nate Taylor said this, I don't know if you've talked to him since this was put out there yesterday, but it sounds like they are expecting to have Humphries back for the Christmas game at this point. So if you give me Christmas, you see what he looks like, hopefully again, with maybe a second game of Hollywood, with Mahomes on a few more days after the ankle. Again, we'll see how he moves there. I do really want to see that orientation back again. The Cleveland game did make me question what took so long on some level. Like, Morris was clearly laboring through that knee. He clearly was having technical issues on so many occasions. I kind of wish, in retrospect, with the benefit of hindsight, I wish they would have pulled that Tooney lever a little bit earlier, and we'd have a better idea and a larger sample size of what the Tooney-Caliendo tackle-guard combo would be. But I think you're right. I think the Chiefs are on the right track. I think Humphries and Tooney on Christmas is the best-case scenario. Let's see how it looks. And there's very, very, very little time to waste there, which is why this hamstring injury is so frustrating.
What do you make of the Texans? We're going to talk to someone from Houston a little bit later on this hour, but this was a team that is 9-5. They're going to probably be locked into the 4 seed, basically, with the division that they're in and everything and in their record. But they don't look as dangerous as some people thought they were heading into the playoffs last year. That was rookie year of C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, no, they were the team for me that maybe I overbought a little bit of the hype on, because it's very easy to project a second-year jump for a young quarterback and for a team that has kind of proven itself as legitimate. And the Texans are a legitimate playoff team, right? I mean, their division has given them some favors this year too. But you mentioned it right at the top of this segment. Watching C.J. Stroud battle with his own offensive line and then battle with blitzes, and then within the context of that, what simulated pressures are doing to Stroud and can do to this offense right now, I think is a Steve Spagnuolo recipe for success. You can, hopefully now, with some more from Charles Omenihu as he continues to ramp up, you have a competent four-man pass rush, which they didn't have for the first act or couple acts of the season. I think you have a chance to get pressure with 4 against that offensive line in a couple of soft spots, let Chris Jones demand the attention and push there, and then Spags can dial up blitzes as opposed to almost defaulting to them, which it feels like he's been doing for large portions of the season when the four-man rush was disappointing. So I am a little bit super removed from the Chiefs side of it all. I'm a little disappointed in this Texans team this year, because it did feel like they were kind of going to be the next team that at least joined the next tier of AFC contenders that might be a little bit frisky in a playoff game. Noting who the Chiefs are and who they've been this year, I'm not in any way overly confident that they're going to win this football game, but I have really had a lot of air left out of that Texans hype balloon for me this season.
We're talking to Josh Brisco from Sports Illustrated. You brought up the defense and getting after C.J. Stroud a little bit. I think it's been very clear since Omenihu came back that this defensive front has had a lot more success. You got to explain something to me, though, about Josh Uche. I think you're so here's the thing. I disagree with you a little bit. You got to explain to me why. I heard you're frustrated by it. Someone's got to explain, why is everybody so bent out of shape about this? They took a flyer on a guy from New England they wanted to get rid of for a couple picks 2 years from now. We all, I thought, agreed that it was a flyer. I did think he'd be playing more too, but why is everybody acting like this is the worst thing ever, and how could they not be playing this guy? It was a flyer for a reason.
I think it's because of how the Chiefs have handled these flyers. They took a flyer on Cam Thomas at roster cutdowns, and he played more snaps against the Chiefs for the Browns than he played for the Chiefs this year. Last year, they do a similar thing for Neil Farrell. He barely ever sees the field, right? And even this is a little bit different, but spending a draft pick on Keandre Coburn, having a 6th-round defensive tackle. Again, we're talking about late draft pick stuff, but it seems like there's some sort of disconnect in how the defensive line is put together and what Steve Spagnuolo wants. And the thing with Uche in particular that's outside of just a pattern of everybody else is that he is such a different type of player that he does have such a different speed, a different flavor from anyone else in this pass rush. This pass rush has looked so stale for so much of the season. Again, Omenihu helps that severely. But I can only watch Mike Dana and George Karlaftis slowly walk back tackles while Chris Jones gets hit by 4 dudes in a sledgehammer, while Derek Nottie or Tershawn Wharton's getting one-on-one held up in the middle without thinking, man, it'd be cool for this defense to get a little bit of speed off the edge. But Spags does not seem to really value speed off the edge, bending around that corner, and that's what Uche does well, and we knew that before they traded for him. So my levels of frustration there are that Uche, I think, legitimately has something that no one else on this pass rush has, that the Chiefs did go get him knowing he's a half-season rental at best, and then the Chiefs, he got here, and I think Spags or whoever has said, I don't really see room for him in the rotation right now. I want Mike Dana out there setting the edge 80% of the snaps if I can get him. That's an exaggeration, but it's not for
I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you on the speed point.
There.
I hear you on the speed point. He's definitely he's got a different skill set than what they have. I guess my only pushback would be, hey, the last 3 games in particular, this defense is playing some of their better football, right? And I think Charles Omenihu is a huge, huge part of that. But Spags, to me, kind of has them rounding into form a bit. And that's not to say they're going to be the same level of defense that they were a year ago. They're not. But this defense is certainly trending in the right direction, and especially if suddenly they can get these takeaways.
100%. I think the ceiling rises when you have a speed edge rusher who could be out there. And frankly, I don't necessarily want to make this about this player because we've spent plenty of time over the last couple of years talking about him. But I think if Joshua Uche was a first-round pick and Felix Henudike-Uzama was a late midseason flyer, I think Uche would be out there.
That might be fair. Yeah, that might be fair as they continue to try to develop Felix. I think organizations do that quite a bit, so there's probably some truth to that as well. Let me ask you, though, just about the rest of the NFL for a second. We last night saw a pretty good Thursday night game with the Broncos and Chargers. Neither team seems like they're playing at the level they were 3 or 4 weeks ago, yet the Chargers have a 97% chance or so to make the postseason. The Broncos, I still think, ultimately get in. Do you think either of those teams can win a playoff game on the road?
I think the Chargers, I think they can. Obviously, the matchup and stuff will matter. I think the Chargers can, and I think it's partially for what you saw a little bit of last night, which is that sometimes you get 2 pretty good teams, and then the one that has a superhero playing quarterback gets some incredible throws in a couple of huge moments, and then that team wins a game that it probably shouldn't have won. So I think Herbert gives them the leg up that the Broncos just don't have in any singular dominant place like that, while Bo Nix was out there throwing passes horizontally and backwards by and large. I think what Herbert was able to do, and what he's able to do pretty frequently, is incredible. I know Herbert, especially in Kansas City, doesn't have the most glowing reputation because his team hasn't had a whole lot of success, but it was around this time last year, maybe in the same week last year, that the Chargers gave up 60 to the Raiders in that game, right? They're in a very different place. They have a better head coach, and they have a quarterback who's actually got a team around him now. So I do think the Chargers could be a little frisky. I'm not super convinced about Denver.
All right, well, we'll let you get back to the beach, man. Are you just lounge on the beach, relax, enjoy some relaxation overall? Or are you going through zip lining through the forest or something?
No zip lines here today. Typically, my wife and I have been kind of trip planner, so like we'll go and do a bunch of activities and whatnot. But this one in particular, that we had a little Black Friday deal that popped up. She'd been keeping an eye out. This is pure relaxation, baby. So I'm hoping the Chiefs don't ruin it for me tomorrow. And I can't go touch as much grass as I could at home, but I'm gonna go touch some sand and try to recenter myself before the playoffs.
There you go, man. Appreciate you calling in. Enjoy it. Seriously. Happy holidays as well. That's Josh Brisco, our Chiefs contributor from Sports Illustrated. Kind enough. We gave him the option. Drew gave him the option in particular today. You sure you want to call in? You're like, you're in Cancun, man. You're on vacation with the wife. He said, no, I want to talk some football. There you go.
Evidently, he loves talking to us more than
I'm very jealous, though.
I don't know.
I mean, look, the weather's not bad in KC for this time of the year. Like, this is anybody that's lived here knows it could be a million times worse than what we're in. So it could be way, way, way worse. But sitting on a beach, a little Mai Tai, whatever fruity drink you want on the beach, strawberry something. Oh man,
my brother lives in West Palm Beach, and I don't need to hear it anymore from him, particularly this time of year. Hey, it was 75 degrees outside today. Okay.
I just hope the next time you go back to the beach, Drew, you don't. Nobody takes your family's spot. For those of you who listen to the show for a bit,
you know what?
Outer Banks, Drew's family's got a spot at Outer Banks. Not a spot as in a house constantly.
Correct.
There's a spot on the beach they think is theirs forever, and there another family was on.
It's not ours, but I will say we have been there.
Another family was there, and you guys thought they took your spot
for the first time, and I can remember somebody showed up there at like 6 a.m. to mark their spot. More power to you, I guess, but that had never happened before.
A public beach, right?
Yes.
Then it's not your spot.
Yes, but there's only there. In fairness, there are only so many. There's maybe 10 parking spots. Outside of people who have beach houses.
Sure.
There. So it can't be too many people that are showing up to this spot.
We're not talking about someone took their parking spot.
Correct.
We're talking about
a spot on the beach.
On the public's natural sand. There's a spot, an exact spot their family goes to once or twice a year, right?
Once a year. We've done this for the last since
another family at 7 a.m. or something had that spot.
It was fine. We just went to a different spot. It was just like, dang, they took our spot.
You were very upset at the time. Anytime we talk about the ocean and beach now, I always think of that story from the summertime.
Yeah, we'll have to get an update.
Text says
in July.
they're on your. Someone says, "LO, I'm on Drew's side with this." You guys should just, put your flag in the ground.
Yeah,
right?
no, yeah, that's right. As long as it's nobody's territory, so I can't get a felony for it.
Mm-hmm, that's right. Ohio. I'm hoping that.
If Tennessee wins, they plant their flag.
Oh, it'd be so good.
Oh, it would be
amazing if Tennessee tomorrow night wins and plants a flag at midfield. Oh my gosh, it would be incredible. It really, really would. All right, we'll get to the trash today in a second, but I mentioned the embargo has been lifted. I'm talking about the Chiefs Saholic Amazon doc. So the doc doesn't come out until the 24th. So it's called a Chiefs Saholic, a Wolf in Chiefs Clothing on Amazon. And like everybody at the station, I think, got sent an email to watch the screener of it, right? And probably anybody else in KC Media did. It's not a big deal. But like,
I don't know if I got that email. I'm dead serious. I haven't seen it.
You should have asked. We could have gotten you the link. But there was a screener, and it was embargoed until like 8 a.m. this morning. So I watched it a week ago, and we're allowed to talk about it now, but it doesn't come out for a couple days. Some of you might be done with the whole Chiefs Saholic thing. We've obviously talked a ton about it over the last year and a half or 2 years and had some fun with it. There's obviously the serious side of it as well, which is highlighted in the documentary of the bank teller who's dealing with the post-traumatic stress from it, and that's why there was a lawsuit and all this stuff. So nobody's discounting the harm mentally maybe that did to employees at the bank that Chiefs Saholic robbed. We have to still admit, though, on the other side, there's unbelievable just hilariousness to the fact that this guy was wearing this Chiefs wolf costume at all these games, and then nobody had any clue that he was going around and robbing banks across the country to support his Chiefs trips and perhaps his gambling habits. So anyway, this documentary is way better than the one that was on ESPN. Remember they did like the quick little short 30 for 30? It was literally like 30 minutes, and it didn't have much new information. This is 2 hours long. It comes out on the 24th, and they were already, and I didn't know, they were already filming Chief Saholic in the hotel room while he had the ankle monitor on. So remember, he gets arrested for robbing the bank in Bixby, Oklahoma, and then he gets on bail. And then he's wearing the ankle monitor. Eventually, he cuts it off, right? And we all know then he was on the loose for like 3 months or whatever.
Yeah.
until they arrested him out in California. And then since then, he's been sentenced to 17 years in federal prison. But they must have already agreed clearly with this Amazon documentary before he ever cut the ankle monitor off, which makes me wonder, like, that they weren't staying in the room with him, but the footage was the documentary starts with him watching the Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl. And then eventually he cuts the ankle monitor off, and then they follow the bail bondsman and bounty hunter or whatever. I guess my question is, like, the Amazon crew, were they not staying, like, right next door? Like, how did
when he broke out?
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. He cut the ankle monitor off, but were they not? The crew wasn't following him the whole time, clearly, because otherwise, wouldn't they have known that he cut the ankle monitor off?
Yeah, that is a really interesting angle to take. Not that they knew it was happening or whatever, but I do. It does make you curious. Is there so they were staying in the same hotel? You would figure the same spot.
I would think. And so the whole doc it's way more in depth than any of the other ones. They also interviewed 4 or 5 Chiefs super fans.
So would you say it's good? Like, it's a lot better than the ESPN one for
it's
sure.
Way better than the ESPN one. If you're a Chiefs fan and you're not tired of the story already, then yeah, I think you'll find it to be kind of interesting. And there's humorous elements only because the attorney, once again, is unbelievable.
Is he?
Yeah, and they clearly, before he made the comments on the courthouse steps, he already knew he was going to be in the documentary. If you watch the doc, you'll know why that's the case. It was very evident. Like, there's one part very early on, he's like, technically almost everything's illegal in this country. And like, that was like there was some more moments where you're like this. Yeah, so we'll have to get some drops from the documentary. I enjoyed it. I mean, certainly we've talked about it enough on the show.
A lot of things that we do are illegal in this country, man.
And there's my favorite part, honestly, and I wish he still lived in Kansas City. You guys know our good friend Aaron Ladd, who was at 41, and he's now down in his hometown doing TV news and sports for an Atlanta station. There's a part in the documentary, I swear, Chief Saholic is in his hotel room with an ankle monitor on, and he just got out on bail, and he's scrolling through Twitter. And some of you, your tweet might pop up because they show a lot of tweets throughout the documentary. And he says he's watching a funny video that Aaron Ladd put out there. And Chief Saholic says, and they kept it in the documentary, he goes, "Man, that Aaron Ladd dude is so effing hilarious." I'm like, man, if Aaron's going to, I don't know if he's going to love that or not. But imagine if he would have said that about anybody at this station about the tweet. But no, he said Aaron Ladd's name gets mentioned in the documentary.
Let's go.
Spied the felon. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I think you can take it as not necessarily like a badge of honor, but the fact that the other angle, forget who's saying it. You are name dropped in a prime documentary. Mm-hmm. Who knows how many millions of people? Who's Aaron Ladd? Like, we should have kept count. I need to look up how many followers he has just to see if it actually spikes when it comes out to be like, oh, who's this Aaron Ladd guy?
Yeah, someone asked this a good question. They said, was the footage 100% from Amazon or someone that was with him? So I don't know if it was a production company that then sold the rights to it, if you will, to Amazon. That I don't know. But I'll tell you this, it wasn't just random cell phone footage, if that's what you mean, in his hotel room. It was like clearly being professionally shot while Chief Saholic still had the ankle monitor on before he cut it.
All right, I'm going to keep track. Ladd is 17.9.
17.9 thousand followers, are you talking about?
Yeah, 17.9 thousand followers. We need to see if his number skyrockets.
Yeah. And then a lot of the documentary is basically the bounty hunter essentially driving up to Kansas City and staying at Target parking lots searching for Chief Saholic's mother, who was living out of a car the whole time. That part's whole bizarre.
Jeez.
That whole part's very, very bizarre.
He had all that money and his mom was in a car?
Well,
I know it was obviously stolen money, but
he won. Remember, he won the MVP bets and he won the Super Bowl bet. He had over $100,000, and that's how the documentary starts. Is he's like sweating out the big win. I thought this was way better done than the one on ESPN.
I'm excited to watch it because I watched the ESPN one. I'm intrigued to see it. Obviously,
this one's like real, actual footage of conversations with him and his attorneys.
Post the whole thing, so.
Pat McAfee's featured a ton. They play a bunch of clips from the Pat McAfee show.
But you guys aren't.
No clips from our show.
Jeez, that's just not right, man.
Did not make the doc, man.
For how much you guys followed it and covered it, Obviously, I wasn't here for that, man. You guys
can I
should
say
have been featured.
Look, and there's no spoiling. We all know how the story ends, so I don't feel like I'm spoiling the documentary. They sent it to us to talk about, and the embargo got lifted this morning, so we're talking about it. But there's one line that's pretty good. So one of the arresting officers with the Bixby Police Department, which was the town where he robbed the bank that ultimately got him caught. He's getting booked and processed, and he hadn't given him his identification. Like, he refused to identify himself. So they were booking him as John Doe initially, technically. But they see he's got a Chiefs tattoo, naturally. The officer goes, "Oh, are you a Chiefs fan?" And Chief Saholic, they said, just kind of smirked or whatever. And the arresting officer goes, "Well, I'm a Raiders fan. You just got arrested by a Raiders fan," which was a pretty funny line. Pretty funny line. Maybe a bit unprofessional, but you know what?
Oh, yeah, it's 100% unprofessional, but it's funny.
It was pretty funny, even if it involves the Raiders. I thought that was a pretty funny line. All right, we went long there, so we have to get to the trash of the day a little bit later on. We've got a good trash of the day as well. But up next, let's go to Houston. Let's find out more about the Texans. Patrick Creighton from our sister station, Sports Radio 610 in Houston, is going to join us right here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
This Friday only in Old Navy stores. Long sleeve tees are just $5 for adults and $4 for kids. Yep, long sleeve tees are $5 for adults, $4 for kids. But hurry, this deal is one day only this Friday at Old Navy stores. Valid 12/20 in stores and select styles only.
Christmas is just around the corner, and if you're wondering what gifts to give friends and family, no worries. Gates Barbecue is here to help. Gates gift packs and combo packs are tasty gifts for the barbecue lover on your list. And Gates gift cards and logo apparel are perfect stocking stuffers, or if you're exchanging gifts at the office or you have family out of town. Visit their website, gatesbbq.com, and ship right to their front door. Remember, buy Gates. It's a Kansas City tradition.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down. 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
Every Friday night, FanDuel's giving all customers a bigger payout on select NBA first bets. First bets let you get on the action from the opening tip. You can bet on things like who will score the first basket, which team will be the first to 15 points, and so much more. And best of all, you don't have to wait the whole game to see if you won. Just look for Friday First in the FanDuel app to find your profit boost. Visit FanDuel.com/Alex to claim your Friday First profit boost. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Max wager amount applies. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Every piece of land has a story. For the Nelsons, it's cruising around their Montana ranch on a John Deere Gator XUV 835R. With 3,000 acres, there's plenty of work to do.
We're not afraid to jump in and help each other out.
That's how they've kept their ranch going for 5 generations.
It's all about efficiency.
Like teaching visitors to fly fish.
The whole joy with fly fishing is matching the hatch.
Run with us on a Gator XUV 835R and start telling your story. Learn more at johndeere.com/radio.
'Tis the season of giving from the Kansas Lottery. So instead of one gift, give 2 or 3. With holiday instant tickets from $1 to $20, don't sweat last-minute gifts because you will have plenty. Forget about Santa and his super-fast sleigh when the folks on your list can win up to $100K. Give Kansas Lottery holiday instant tickets this season. They're festive as heck and the winnings are pleasing. See kslottery.com for all the details. Sorry, this holiday story has gone off the rails.
December deals just dropped at Lowe's. Get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, take an additional $75 off every $1,000 you spend on select kitchen major appliances from Whirlpool, KitchenAid, Amana, and Maytag. And save $30 on a Project Source 3-gallon pancake compressor. Was $79.98, now $49.98. Valid 12/19 through 12/25. Cannot be combined with additional discounts. See Lowe's.com for details and qualifying items. While supplies last. Tool offer valid 12/5 through 12/18. While supplies last.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a pick six, or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game. And tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Half hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
That's right. It is the Chiefs Red Half Hour. It's Cody and Gold here. Alex Gold, Drew Nixon co-hosting with me today. He's also producing the show. Cody back on Monday. As we get to that time of the year where it's holidays, everybody taking some time off a little bit. We'll have the full crew back together after the new year. We got a couple football games, though, in between that, starting tomorrow against the Texans before the Chiefs take on the Steelers on Christmas Day. Let's go out to Houston and talk with someone I used to work with for a couple of years when I was down in Houston as well, Patrick Creighton. He's actually now with our sister station down in Houston, Sports Radio 610. Patrick, what's going on, man? It's good to have you on the show. How are things going?
Hey, what's going on, Alex? Number one, man, congratulations for all your success down there in KC. You know, you and Cody do a terrific show. You guys are awesome. And it's great to be on in Kansas City, man. It's been a while since I've been on the air in Kansas City.
Thanks, man. Yeah, the check's in the mail. And, yeah, it's been a bit. It's been a bit since we've been talking some football together a little bit. And the last time, you know, the Chiefs and Texans had a game even close to this magnitude was, of course, that playoff game. And we all know the story there with the Chiefs' big lead and ultimately the collapse from Deshaun Watson and Bill O'Brien at the time. Fast forward to this year, I feel like this game – preseason felt like it was going to be a bigger matchup with Stroud and Mahomes. And What's happened for Stroud and the Texans this year? They're going to be in the playoffs. They won the division already, but he's not been the same quarterback.
Yeah, it's hard to be the same quarterback when you're always getting your ass kicked. Go figure. The Texans' offensive line, they came into this season, last year they had a lot of injuries on the offensive line. They were on like center 4 and tackle 5 and guard 8. I mean, you're just bringing in anybody and everybody who can play. And they had a piecemeal of the offensive line together most of the year. This year they came in with their starting 5 healthy, and they were worse. And they weren't just a little worse, Alex. They were like, oh, my God, worse. And this is a team that, they kind of changed the blocking scheme this year. They've changed up a lot of the formations. You see the Texans go with these condensed formations a lot, and it's made it more difficult for them to identify blitzes, identify stunts, identify who's a rusher and who's not a rusher. And this has resulted in C.J. Stroud already being sacked 45 times this year. That's 7 more times than he was sacked all of last year. He is like the most highest pressured quarterback in the league. It's ridiculous. And it's hard to look downfield and find those plays on the run, find those plays and those scramble drills when you can't look downfield because you're looking 5 feet in front of you to see if you're about to get clubbed. And that has been the biggest issue for the Texans all year long is they have been awful at keeping 7 on his feet.
It's interesting you bring that up. It sounds similar to some of the conversations we're having here about the Chiefs' offensive line, which certainly has had plenty of problems, specifically the left tackle and right tackle spot when people try to figure out why have they not got some stuff down the field, why are Mahomes' numbers maybe a little bit down. It's why when I look at Tank Dell and I see his production's dropped off. Nico Collins has come back for you guys, and you're starting to see some of the production come back there. But is that why also a guy like Tank Dell has not had the season that people were expecting? Does it all come back to the offensive line?
Part of it does, yeah. I mean, a good chunk of this goes back to the offensive line. Part of this also goes back to the beginning of the year when you had Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, and Tank Dell all in the lineup. And, look, Bobby Slovic, their offensive coordinator, just didn't know how to divvy up the throws. I mean, last year, you go back to 2023, and the success of this team was if you're open, you get the football. But when they brought in Stephon Diggs, it really seemed like they tried to force the ball to Nico a certain number of times, force the ball to Steph a certain number of times. Like they're trying to make sure each guy gets their touches and keeps them happy, and it made the offense choppy. They were fortunate that, there were some times earlier in the year where they were able to run the football, and Joe Mixon has been a godsend for this team because everything that Joe Mixon picks up on the ground is almost always all Joe Mixon. It's not because there's some huge hole for him to go through. It's Mixon's ability to see cutback lanes and find yards that weren't there.
We're talking to Patrick Craden from Sports Radio 610 in Houston. Sorry to cut you out there. Go ahead.
No, as I say, when those cutback lanes aren't there, you get like what you saw last week from the Texans, where they've got 30 yards on the ground. This is just kind of how it goes with the Houston Texans. The offensive line is still extremely inconsistent, and it doesn't matter what team you are. You could be the worst pass rusher in the league. If you stunt, they can't block it. All year long, doesn't matter who, doesn't matter where, doesn't matter why. If you stunt, the Texans can't block it. And Steve Spagnuolo is one of the best in the business. I'm 100% certain he's going to have some new looks for the Houston Texans offensive line that they're going to have trouble with because the middle of that line, left guard, center, right guard, those guys have been awful this year. And I feel like Kansas City has this really big, prominent defensive player right smack in the middle of the defensive line. Guy wears 95, like some people have heard of him. And how the hell they're going to block him, I don't know.
We're talking to Patrick Craden from Sports Radio 610 in Houston. I would say, on the flip side, that's kind of what people are saying here about how the heck are they going to protect Mahomes against a guy like Will Anderson, against someone like Danielle Hunter, knowing the tackle problems and a Texans team that's about to break a franchise record in sacks. Is the expectation there in Houston? Like that's the name of the game for this one. If the Texans are to win, they're going to have to just cause all sorts of problems for Patrick Mahomes and this offensive line?
Alex, coming into the year, we all thought, the Texans are going to have this dynamic, explosive offense, and the defense has a chance to be pretty good. And now here we are towards the end of the season, and it's like the defense is really freaking good as long as they don't give up 70-yard chunk plays. And the offense is kind of like barely getting by. this has become a defensive-oriented team. They won last week against the Miami Dolphins because the defense was great and they made special teams plays. The offense really only got a couple of short field scores. So the defense is going to be what's going to win this game for the Houston Texans. They're going to have to get after Patrick Mahomes. And, normally I thought it's not an easy thing to do because, look, Patrick's a pretty mobile quarterback. He's dealing with an ankle injury right now. So not sure how mobile he might be right now. But how they block Danielle Hunter, how they block Will Anderson, with the Chiefs having their issues at tackles and the Texans having their issues on the interior line, it's like each team's offensive line's weakness plays to the other team's strength. This might not be a very high-scoring game.
I'm kind of with you. I think we're trending towards an under in this particular game where the lines are set in Vegas, and obviously for those of you in Kansas side here betting on FanDuel, for example. But I think the weird thing about the Texans from afar, and you can tell me if this is how Texans fans view them, they're, to me, I think a slightly above average football team this year. I put them maybe slightly above a Broncos or Chargers team, which is not where I thought they were going to be. I had them playing the Chiefs in the AFC title game this year. I would be surprised at this point if that's the AFC title game that we get. The Texans fans there have hope at all that they can get things figured out come playoff time and go on a run, or is there a realization that this might be a Texans team that is one and done?
I think most fans are leaning more towards the pessimistic side of things right now. And really, it's all because of the offense. The offense has not been able to get on track. Now, this is going to be their second week where they're going to roll out their right tackle, Titus Howard, at left guard. And they're going to put their rookie Blake Fisher at right tackle. This was the new offensive line alignment for last week, the first time they played. I mean, they really only started playing Titus on Friday in practice last week at that position. And Friday's kind of a walkthrough, so they really kind of slapped it together there. They've had injuries at left guard. Juice Scruggs is a foot injury. He's probably out for the year. And Kenyon Green is coming back, but he was so bad that I don't think they want to put him back there, certainly not this year. I don't know if he's got a role on this team next year. So for right now, because of the lack of depth they have at the guard position, they've had to move their right tackle to play left guard and put their rookie in at right tackle. And we're going to see how well this alignment progresses over the next couple of weeks. It looks like this is what it's going to be for them going forward and into the postseason. Right now you look at wow, you get 4 seed, as the division champion, and you got to play the Baltimore Ravens first week, wild card weekend. I don't know how good you feel about that if you're a Texans, because Lamar Jackson's 4-0 against the Houston Texans. And boy, if there's anybody else I could see, would I rather see the Broncos or the Chargers every day of the week? So, and then of course, you get the Texans, you're going to play the Chiefs on Saturday, and then Christmas Day. Oh, look, it's the Ravens. So, yeah, it's definitely a trial by fire for this new revamped offensive line, and they've kind of got to get it together, and they got to get it together in a hurry, or they might very well be a one-and-done team in the postseason.
Couple more minutes here with Patrick Creighton from our sister station down in Houston, Sports Radio 610. You brought up the short turnaround. It's been a huge topic here. The 3 games in 10 or 11 days, playing the Texans Saturday, then they got to go on the road on Christmas Day to play at Pittsburgh. And I think outside of Kansas City, a lot of people hear that as like whining, hey, there's all these other teams have to do that as well. The complaint here is that, hey, well, the Chiefs had a week 6 bye, Patrick, and Chris Jones publicly said, hey, if you're going to have late in the year 3 and 10 days, okay, that's fine. But you got to give these teams late season buys. The Chiefs had week 6. I think the Texans and Ravens had a week 14 bye. That's where fans here are frustrated.
No, and you should be. Look, the Texans had a week 14 bye. Man, they were beat to hell going into that game. And, coming into the bye week. So, yeah, on one hand, you buy early in the year, like week 6. And then you've got to play 3 and 10 days at the end of the year. That's insane. And whoever thought this up, literally should be launched into the moon with a rocket ship, probably made by SpaceX. It'll blow up before it gets there. But when you get into, hey, you get your bye week, week 14. Okay, well, your team is beat to hell. Come out. Okay, now play 3 and 10 days. It's like, well, all right, well, we're finally getting some kind of rest, and now you're going to kick our ass again. So, it doesn't make any sense, and it really points to the NFL. If they want to continue to do this, they're going to need to expand the schedule, and you're going to need to go to 2 bye weeks.
Last one for you, Patrick. How do you, in the guys in Houston, view the Chiefs? You know, we know the national narrative is, of course, they're the luckiest team. Their point differential's not any good. There's one fraction, I think, or one faction of the Chiefs fan base that would say, all right, this team's not good enough to go to the Super Bowl. Then there's other fans that would say, hey, this team last year, people counted them out and they figured it out in the playoffs. Where are you kind of at when you watch the Chiefs?
Well, Alex, as you know, I am not above putting the tongue firmly in the cheek. And listen, we know that every referee group in the NFL 100% always favors the Kansas City Chiefs. They get every call. Like, how many times we got to hear that narrative? That's the kind of thing. It's just like, all right, like, we watch enough games to know, like, this is not like the 2017, 2015, like, Golden State Warriors, where they literally get every call. Kansas City is just a really damn good team. And, you get a Hall of Fame quarterback. Well, I don't care how good or bad a regular season he's having. When the money's on the line, Patrick Mahomes can elevate his game higher than anybody else can elevate their game. So, they are the Kansas City Chiefs. They are the two-time defending champs. And anybody who is going to give any disrespect to them does so at their own peril. And that's why they're 13-1. You're not 13-1 because, oh, man, you're so lucky. Oh, man, I can't believe you got away with this. It's 13-1. So I think most fans still, especially here, still look at Kansas City as, that's Kansas City. They always beat us. Patrick Mahomes is still quarterback god. And until proven otherwise, that's how it should be.
Patrick Creighton from Sports Radio 610 in Houston. Great to have you on the show, man. Good to hear from you. Happy holidays. Best wishes and everything to the family as well.
Appreciate you, brother. Happy holidays. Happy New Year to you.
There you go. Patrick Creighton with us here on 96.5 The Fan. Good perspective on the Texans. Maybe that gives you some hope. There's still some fans out there, even outside of Kansas. Not every single fan thinks it's all a conspiracy for the Chiefs. There's other people out there, Drew, that can actually step away and also be smart about how they discuss the Chiefs.
I'm smart when I discuss the Chiefs.
That wasn't to you. I'm saying like when he was joking about the referee stuff. No, that wasn't directed at you at all. I'm just saying we hear so much that fans outside of Kansas City think it's just the refs and all this kind of stuff. And so it was nice to hear someone that is in Houston also acknowledge that. No, of course that's not what it is. You're not accidentally 13-1. As far as the Texans go, I think it was very clear hearing him discuss their O-line problems. There's a lot of similarities here. They're having a new look O-line start for the second week in a row. They've got some O-line challenges. Their quarterback can't stay upright. It's impacting some of the other stuff down the field. We know in Kansas City the discussion is about not protecting Mahomes and impacting stuff down the field. I think there's some similarities in how both these teams have gotten to this point. One team is still 13-1, but if you're wondering why have the Texans not looked as dominating as people thought, it's also because of their offensive line.
No, that and then, you look at some of the wide receiver injuries. Tank Dell hasn't been as good as he was last year. I think along with the fact that, again, they haven't looked as good as the Chiefs because as great as DeMeco Ryans is, he's not Andy Reid. And, they have Spags as well, and they find ways to get it done because that was one of the things that we all thought, I think, preseason too, was they're in the AFC South. They should be able to skate by this division, which they still technically
rack up a bunch of wins, and they could still end up with, I guess, 10 or 11 wins.
It was a similar conversation to what we had about Jacksonville really even 2 years ago, where we went into last year saying, hey, Jacksonville can get 13, 14 wins, and then we'll see where they're at. It didn't happen. It's not happening again with the Houston Texans. So it's definitely weird how they're a really good team, but they're one of the teams that you don't take seriously. Maybe part of it's because of the division that they play in, where even if they did, say Houston had 12 wins this year, or 13 wins, you couldn't take them fully serious because of the division thing, where they have to actually go out on the field and prove it. And I think this is a opportunity for them to go out and prove, hey, we can beat the Chiefs, but it's just when you combine them, they're similar, but the Chiefs are just better because they find ways to win where the Texans haven't been able to do that.
We're going to talk more about this matchup, obviously, in the noon hour, not only with Jay Binkley at 12:30, but just some of the other kind of numbers that go with the conversation as it relates to their struggles. And I don't think it's all on C.J. Stroud, but that's why we view them differently, is because C.J. Stroud is simply not having as good of a year. Yes, there's more to the story, the O-line, but he was the rookie of the year and set these records. That's why people thought this year he could maybe be an MVP candidate. It was never in the MVP conversation, not for a second this year, and just doesn't look the same in understanding it's the O-line is part of that equation as well. But that's why they're not as dangerous.
He only had like 100. He might have. I don't know if he had a game with less than 100 yards, but it was close to floating around like Jared Goff sort of numbers. I don't know if they won the game or not, but there's times when he only had like maybe 10 or 11, 12 completions in an entire game.
The Chiefs should be able to get pressure on C.J. Stroud tomorrow afternoon.
It's a nightmare for him.
The game right here on 96.5 The Fan, noon kickoff. That means pregame begins at 9 a.m. You'll hear Dan Israel, Josh Klingler, Mitch Holthus, Dane and Hughes. You're on your home for the Chiefs, 96.5 The Fan. You passed this along to me. Barstool Sports, everybody has their own opinion on them or whatever, but I'll tell you what's been really fun to watch recently is since John Gruden joined them, and again, everybody has an opinion on John Gruden as well, but the content has been really interesting hearing him tell stories about his time as a head coach and all kinds of stories. He was telling a story the other day about Sebastian Janikowski kicking a field goal drunk during a game or whatever. So just bizarre stuff that we haven't heard before, including a story John Gruden told about when he was on the same coaching staff. Mike Holmgren was the head coach, and him and Andy Reid were both really, and Gruden has always been younger, but like you get what I'm saying, like they're still younger guys in the coaching profession. Andy was older at the time. But the competition that existed on the staff trying to get Mike Holmgren's attention, basically. Listen to this.
Well, it had to be Andy. It had to be Andy Reid. We're on Mike Holmgren's staff in Green Bay. Andy played for Mike Holmgren at BYU. So he was kind of the teacher's pet, Yeah. So we had this big board. Me and Mariucci and Andy Reid were young coaches at the time, and we would put the plays on the board with the formations, and these are the plays that we think should be in the game plan. And Holmgren would be doing his thing. He'd come in, he'd sit there and look at the board, and in a different color would be a new play. And Holmgren was always like, whose play is that? Andy goes, that's my play. That's 69 handoff solid. You get on the board and draw it. Mike would put it in. And Andy would like look at me and mooch like, I'm smarter than you guys.
Yeah.
So Andy would get a play in the game plan, and it would be called. And it gained 6 yards or it gained 8 yards. And Andy'd walk around the office all week like, that's
That's awesome.
So now we're not playing good, and people are starting to get on Holmgren's ass a little bit. So we go into the room, there's all the plays, and there's this play called Fox 3, fullback slide, 58, all go Z search. Holmgren's like, what are those plays? I go, those are my 2 plays. And I had a cut up, and well, you don't like our plays? Is that what your problem is? You don't want to run our... He was on my ass, like yelling at me. So we go play the Bears on Halloween night. It's pouring down rain, the worst night in the history of football. 3rd and 2, early in the game. Holmgren calls red left, fake Fox 3, naked right, fullback slide. And I swear to God, Brett Favre kept it, runs it in. Longest touchdown run of his career, 36 yards on Monday Night Football. I'm on the sidelines. I'm not saying anything, but I'm like, that's my play. So listen, late, this is a true story. Late in the game, we just need a first down, the game's over. And it's like 3rd and 14. And I had seen Dan Marino run an all-go with a little search route. And I put that play in, and Sterling Sharp ran it better than Mark Clayton and Mark Duper ever ran it. Favre threw it like a 23-yard gain to ice the game. That's my play, too. So we get on the plane, and Holmgren's sitting in the front with Ron Wolf, the GM, and I'm in the back. I'll never forget this. I got my beer, and I'm drinking it. I'm thinking, that was the greatest day of my life. Holmgren turns around. He goes, hey, Gruber. Calls me Gruber. Hey, Gruber, come down here. I walk down the thing. I sit next to him. He goes, game ball. Hell of a job. I turn around. I walk back to my seat. I see Andy Reid, and I go, game ball. I love competing with Andy Reid.
That's awesome. That's just a great story. They were asking basically the coach he had the biggest rivalry with. We all know John Gruden was actually at Chiefs training camp this year for a couple days, kind of just watching things, was in team meetings. And since then, Gruden's been hired. He's working full time, right? Isn't he for Barstool?
I think so. Yeah, I think
he's full time with Barstool. And they have him like when they watch football games, they'll have a live stream basically, and he tells stories like this one. And some of them are pretty good, man. Some of them are pretty good. And that was really cool to hear.
The videos of him that got me feeling nicey because somebody goes nuts, or like a player goes nuts. Mm-hmm. A running back goes nuts because he loves his running backs, always talking about that.
Sure. Yeah, that's a really good Andy Reid story.
That I think Bink would really appreciate that. Like Bink and John Gruden talking about football, like you wouldn't be able to get him out of the room talking about football.
Yeah, that'd be a bit much, I feel like. That'd be a bit much.
I mean, he's over here naming the play. Spider 2Y banana. Okay. Fullback slide. Okay.
Yeah, Bink's going to join us
Sounds
at
great.
12:30, by the way. We'll talk a ton of college football with Bink, also some NFL. It's been a bit since we had Bink on the show, so I'm looking forward to having him call in the noon hour today. Someone on the text line, 913-586-7965, said, are they ever going to pay off their bet? That's in reference to Sports Radio 610 in Houston. They're our sister station. That's a throwback. So, Pat, it's not that. The reason why I didn't bring it up because that wasn't on Patrick. He was not at the station at the time. But that station, going back to the AFC divisional round game where the Chiefs, we all know, were in the huge hole in the divisional round, first quarter, and then they make the comeback. They end up covering. We had made a bet with that station. I think there's one person still at that station who we made the bet with. That's not who we just had on the show.
Still just one person
I think
left,
it was Clint who does afternoon.
Clint Cerner, yeah.
Yeah, he does afternoon drive at that station, I think. Doesn't he co-host with Ron down there?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
So, but that was they weren't doing the show together at the time. But anyway, we made a bet. We said if the Chiefs, and they wouldn't do the Chiefs straight up. They said we had to give the Texans points, and we did. And then remember the Chiefs were down 24-0 or whatever it was, and so they were feeling great because they also had the 7 points. So then Chiefs come all the way back and still cover. We never got our barbecue. They owed us barbecue. Here we are, 4 years later, 5 years later, I guess. They still owe us barbecue.
You guys should have mentioned that at Radio Row. Because they were next to us.
I don't know if Clint was there.
Clint was there.
Ah, dang it.
I met Clint there.
Well, the reason why this got brought back up, too, is I was on a different station in Houston yesterday. The producer of the show that we made the bet with back in 2020 is now a producer at a different station in Houston. And he brought it up yesterday. And that's how I found out the names of the people involved. But yes, Houston, we don't make bets with them. They don't come through. Sorry. They don't come through with their bets. We appreciate our friends in Buffalo. They've had to send us food multiple times for playoff bets. They pay their debts.
And you guys would have paid the debt.
Yeah. The Chiefs fortunately keep winning, so we haven't had to send anybody anything. Thank you very much, Patrick Mahomes. But we'll gladly make a bet with Buffalo again in the playoffs if it gets to that point. But I don't think Houston, we're out. We're out on a Houston bet. They still owe us some brisket or whatever. Not that we got barbecue here, but the point, it was more about the principle of the bet.
Oh, 100%. Someone said, do you really want inferior barbecue?
I'm with you. Look, I grew up in Kansas City. You guys all know that, so I like KC barbecue better. I lived in Houston for a couple of years. There's some good barbecue down there. It's different. I'll take ribs and burnt ends over anything else, though, here in Kansas City.
My wife
over
did,
brisket down there.
So my wife did say something. We were talking about barbecue.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
She loves Kansas City barbecue. Loves Kansas City barbecue.
But,
she goes, so have you heard of Dickie's barbecue?
Oh, jeez.
Hang on.
Oh,
hang on.
come
on. Hang on. She goes, man, some of those Dickie's barbecue baked beans sound really good.
They have that in Houston. I've had it before. That's a chain, though. That's a chain.
Correct. It is a chain. But she was like, I mean, Kansas City barbecue is really good, but is there that much of a difference? That was kind of the line of thinking that she was going on.
We got to get you to some other barbecue. You still haven't done the barbecue tour, have you? You've gotten how many different barbecue places here in town?
Haven't been to the tour. We're planning on going to Johnny's Barbecue here. I don't know if it's it might be today or over the weekend.
We got to go to a break. How many barbecue places in town have you gone to? You don't have to name them if you don't want, but how many?
3.
Okay, we got it. Yeah. Okay. And the 3, I know one of them for sure. You've been to Smokehouse, right?
Correct.
Have you
been to Joe's?
You've been to Joe's, and what's the third?
Not Gates.
Q39?
Yes.
Okay. There's some other ones you got to go to.
I still need to experience Gates. I feel like based on what everybody's told me, I need to go in with the right frame of mind of I know exactly what I'm ordering. Just give me the easiest thing to order, I guess.
Yeah, you got to go to some more. You got to take your wife to some more barbecue places so she doesn't keep talking about Dickie's Barbecue, chain barbecue from Dallas.
She just said it sounded good. That's all she said.
All right, up next, man, we'll get to what's trending, and we'll talk more about how the Chiefs can attack the Texans. Plus, Jay Binkley going to talk some college football with us next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Winter clearance time over at Volkswagen Lee Summit, where you can get the biggest discounts of the year, for being honest. You only got like 10 days left. This is the best time of year to buy a car. Look it up. Look up like Google. Hey, when's the best time to buy a car? Right near holidays, right near the end of the year. And that's what they're doing at Volkswagen Lee Summit, where you get up to $8,000 off MSRP on Atlas or Atlas Crossports, $5,000 off MSRP, 24 Jettas, Taos or Tiguan's. If you want to know what my Tiguan's like, it's a 24 Tiguan. I can tell you it's an R-Line black 24 Tiguan. If you want to know what that ride's like, I'll let you know. Just hit me with a DM, and I'll tell you why I chose Volkswagen Lee Summit and why I chose the Tiguan for myself. Look, I chose the 0% APR for up to 60 months to get my new ride, and I've never regretted it. Signed and drive leases are available, 0 down and 0 next month. Really anything you need, new and used, new in 24, you're looking at the 25s, all those things are available for you, but the winter clearance sale is the best time to buy. Don't miss out. Go to VWLeeSummit.com.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line, golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Thanks to Total Wine, you saved more on all the gifts for the ones you adore. Wine, spirits, beers, all nestled on shelves.
Curbside pickup available and the lowest prices for over 30 years only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly. B21.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Thanks to Total Wine, you saved more on all the gifts for the ones you adore. Wine, spirits, beers, all nestled on shelves. Got some advice from our helpful elves. Oh, so many gifts to explore when you go to Total Wine and More. Bottles so delightful, whoa. Priced so amazingly low.
Curbside pickup available and the lowest prices for over 30 years only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly. B21.
It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan, and the other place is your sports watching headquarters this fall. Now with 5 great area locations: Shawnee, Olathe, downtown Overland Park, Mission, and Belton. Enjoy Red Friday specials all day.
Kansas City, is Sean Barber. You know there's nothing easier than to enjoy watching the Chiefs with some wings and an ice-cold Bud Light. And Buffalo Wild Wings is serving up both for every game, all season long. Join me at Buffalo Wild Wings off I-70 in Little Blue Parkway in Independence, Friday, December 20th. I'll be there from 6 to 8 p.m. celebrating the back-to-back Super Bowl champs while eating some wings and drinking $5 Bud Lights. Nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
For more, go to 965thefan.com. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
This Friday only in Old Navy stores. Long sleeve tees are just $5 for adults and $4 for kids. Yep, long sleeve tees are $5 for adults, $4 for kids. But hurry, this deal is one day only this Friday at Old Navy stores. Valid 12/20 in stores and select styles only.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. When sending a package, why venture outside? Ship with USPS for a true holiday ride. Want to stay cozy and warm? There's no need to roam. With free package pickup and labels printed from home. We have over 600,000 employees always in motion. And before you know it, your gift has delivered emotion. Spread the holiday joy this season with USPS's enhanced network. Learn more at USPS.com/holidayride.
Many people consider selling their homes independently to save on real estate commissions. While this might seem appealing, especially in today's market, independent sellers often overlook the significant financial benefits of working with a professional. Collaborating with an expert like Dawn Sharp and the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty, can greatly enhance your profits and overall experience in the selling process. So contact the only agent I would trust cost if I needed to sell my home. You can Google Dawn and her team at Sharp Homes Team or visit them at homesforsaleandkc.com.
This holiday season, Straight Talk Wireless is letting you say yes a lot more with real unlimited data. Yes to sharing pics of the ugliest holiday sweaters. Yes to checking weather on the go for surprise sledding trips. And with a free phone at sign up, let the yes-tivities begin.
No way!
Yes way. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart or straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 1/5/25 while supplies last at participating stores. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation on select single-line plans. Limit of 2 phones per customer. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
The college football playoff is here, and you don't want to miss a moment of the action. With the new 12-team format, it's guaranteed to be bigger and better than ever. TNT's coverage of the college football playoff begins December 21st with SMU battling Penn State at noon Eastern. Then, Clemson Tigers look to upset the Texas Longhorns in a showdown at 4 p.m. Eastern. Watch the college football playoff, presented by Allstate on TNT and Max.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
What's trending here on Cody and Gold, presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. Number one, of course, is the Chiefs getting set for the Texans tomorrow. Noon kickoff right here on 96.5. The Fan. Pregame coverage begins at 9 a.m. here on your home for the Chiefs. Story around this game all week was about the ankle. That's also what shifted the line around. So at one point, the Chiefs were 3.5-point underdogs, and then as the week went on, it continued to move and move and move, and that's all centered around the Mahomes injury. We all know he's going to play tomorrow. The Chiefs are up to 3.5-point favorites against Houston. The total for the game sitting at 41.5 over at FanDuel. We're going to talk more about this game in specifically the areas the Chiefs can attack here in about 5 minutes or so. But the Chiefs, one of 4 teams playing on a Saturday, and then, of course, the turnaround for Christmas. Pittsburgh will play Baltimore in the late game tomorrow afternoon. The Ravens, 6.5-point favorites. The Steelers could win the division with the victory, but they are almost touchdown underdogs heading into that game up in Baltimore. Next up on What's Trending, college football playoff begins tonight. We're going to talk more about this with Bink at 12:30 today, but you get the first one. First year of the expanded playoff field, first year of the on-campus playoff site. So tonight, 7 o'clock, Indiana taking on Notre Dame. The Hoosiers, 6.5-point underdogs in that one. Then tomorrow we get 3 games. It is an unbelievable Saturday. We get SMU, Penn State at 11 a.m. The Chiefs are going to play, as we know, at noon. Then at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's Clemson in Texas, that one in Austin. You have another NFL game going on. And then in the evening, we get the other college football playoff game. Tennessee, Ohio State, 7 p.m. from Columbus. It is a loaded weekend in college football.
You have any bets you're liking?
We'll talk about during the 1 o'clock hour.
Some interesting spreads.
Yeah, so I don't like Indiana now that it's down to 6.5. I think if you got them at 7 or 7.5, the Hoosiers to cover. Yeah, you're giving me that many points for Indiana. I don't know if they're going to win outright, but I would take it if you give me a touchdown or more, maybe by the half point. But it's now gone down to 6.5. A lot of people are betting the Hoosiers to cover, but Notre Dame to win. And I do actually feel like Clemson's going to cover the 12.5. And then I would love for Tennessee to upset Ohio State, but I don't know. I would love that. It would be so good.
I'm telling you, it might be an infestation in Columbus of Vols fans. That's the rumor going around.
I know it. There's no way there's going to be 40,000, though. I know you were talking about that. 40,000, man.
You're talking about taking over the stadium.
I'm just taking over the stadium. It holds 100,000. You think there's going to be 40,000 at a home stadium site? It's not a neutral site.
From what's been reported, a lot of the resale stuff that people have been doing has been Vols fans have been picking those tickets up left and right, man. I don't know if it'll be 40, but I'm going to be surprised if you see 25 or 30. Just based on what's being said.
We'll see.
I wonder.
Mean, that's embarrassing if that's the case. I was thinking there's going to be 15,000 Tennessee Volunteer fans. But
I wonder if they're actually going to sell out, too. I don't know if any venue, other than maybe the Notre Dame game, has been announced as a sellout, because Notre Dame's getting priced still like $1,000.
This was the challenge of like how cool the campus sites are, but the students are home for the holidays.
Yeah, it sucks.
Students are home for the holidays. People are already traveling for the holidays, and it presents some some challenges, perhaps. Yeah. That would be the only thing. Next on What's Trending, real quick, just local college basketball. Illinois, Missouri. It's a Sunday tip-off. Also, Kansas taking on Brown as we get to that point in the basketball schedule where you kind of have the one game and then they have the break for the holidays. Finals are already, I guess, in the rearview mirror. Also, tomorrow, Kansas State playing against Wichita as the Kansas State Wildcats' final non-con game.
They need to win something. They need to figure it out.
I mean, even if they beat Wichita State, they're going to have to win 10 games in Big 12 play probably to get in.
Man, that means Cody's going to have some trash talk on Monday potentially.
For what?
If UMKC beat Wichita State, but then the Shockers beat K-State, oh, man. You might not hear the end of it on Monday.
I think K-State's going to at least win that,
I think they should.
They are not. I mean, look,
on paper,
they obviously
better.
just lost to Drake, who's a really, really experienced team.
Drake will be really good in March.
And Drake's still undefeated.
That's
One of 5, I think, undefeated teams remaining in Division I college basketball. Anyway, that's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. As you can hear, it's just myself and Drew today. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon normally, but just Alex Gold, Drew Nixon today. Cody will be back on Monday. Drew and I out next week with the holidays, so the full show won't be back together again till the first of the year. I think the second to be exact. So a lot's going to happen between them. That's what's kind of weird, man, with the way the Chiefs' schedule set. They're going to play Saturday against the Texans. They're going to play on Christmas against the Steelers. By the time we're back on the air, it'll be going into the Broncos. It'll be going on the Broncos game. Yeah,
Jeez.
I mean, the Chiefs could have the number 1 seed locked up by then, or obviously we would talk about a must-win game against Denver. It just kind of depends how the next two go. Coming up in 20 minutes, Jay Binkley going to join us. We'll talk NFL and college football. Also, it's a Fan Club Friday. 1 o'clock hour, our good friend Kramer going to stop by. We'll open up a couple drinks, talk some sports and anything else. Who knows what's going to come up. We'll probably get back to the company holiday party stuff as well, as Kramer was there. There's also people in the building searching all over the place for the random hidden thing. Well, there's the elf is hidden today. There's
the final one, right?
Employee prize, final day, and I did a quick glance around the building for 2 minutes during the break.
Hang on a second. What's the? I mean, I guess I can't win because I've already won. But
you can.
Out of curiosity, what's the prize?
It just says a hiding place feels like home. I don't know. So I looked underneath some gingerbread houses. Right.
One
like
last
a good
time
guess.
the elf is hiding. That's all it says.
It said something about home. So
it's got to be that.
I looked under the gingerbread houses. It wasn't there, man. So anyway, we'll talk to Kramer in the 1 o'clock hour. We'll also have our game predictions.
I hope you win it, Gold.
It's a good prize today too, man. It's a pretty
that's
good.
what I was asking. Is what was the prize?
It's like a sign. It's older stuff. It's signed Tyrann Mathieu jersey and some other stuff.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the Chiefs here because I think the next 2 games can get some of you on board that are still on the fence. And honestly, just saying that out loud is a bit crazy because it's a 13-1 football team. But we've discussed it enough. I don't have to go over it all over again. We know the concerns. We know the flaws with this football team. But yet they are 13-1. You have to admit, even if you're the most skeptical Chiefs fan, you can text in and tell me if you think this is the case. Maybe not. 913-586-7965. If they get to 15-1, which means they beat the Texans tomorrow, and then on a short week, and you know that ankle from Mahomes is not going to be feeling great on Sunday and Monday, and then they got to hop on a plane Tuesday and go take on the Steelers. If they get to 15-1, lock up the number 1 seed, win in that short period of time, given the O-line issues, given the fact that Mahomes is clearly not 100%, you have to admit, shouldn't that put to rest some of your concerns about the team? If they would beat a playoff divisional winner team in Houston tomorrow, and then go on the road to a Steelers team that could already have the division locked up by the time they play. Depends on if they beat the Ravens, and they're not on paper supposed to, right? They're the underdog to do that. If that happens, like, how can you say they can't win against, playoff teams? These flaws are too great to do that. And I know we don't put the Texans and Steelers in the same category as Buffalo. I get it. But like that, to me, if they get to 15-1, how can you say that they can't win enough games in the playoffs or that they're too flawed of a team? That scenario exactly happening. Maybe you think they're not going to do that. That's fine. That's a whole different conversation. But if they do that and they're 15-1 and win the next 2, all the circumstances around it, how could you still be terribly concerned with this football team?
Well, especially when you look at the schedule and they'll have played. I know it was the first game of the year because everybody was like, "Oh, the Ravens aren't going to be the same team they are later." Neither are the Chiefs. In fairness, they'll have played the Ravens. They'll have played the Chargers. They'll have played the Niners if they can make it. They'll have played Tampa Bay. They'll have played Denver. They'll have played Buffalo. They'll have played Houston, and they'll have gone through more of a gauntlet than, in fairness, the Buffalo Bills had. Than most other teams have, really, because with the AFC North, you can kind of say, well, the Steelers and Ravens went through some tough competition too, but the Chiefs have been tested in every way, shape, and form, and if they go 15-1, I think you're right.
No, it's a big if. As someone says in the text, they say that's a big if. Totally. This is the hypothetical. If they,
you're right though. I think there's
go
no way
15-1 though. I don't know how you could still be like really questioning what the hell's going on.
And when we're talking about two really good defenses too, because as great as Buffalo is defensively, they're not the same team. Like the Steelers, like we've said it before on the show, they're very identical in terms of what they are. They defensively very sound, very elite, very good. Quarterback play at times has been a little bit iffy. The running back situation, Steelers run the ball maybe a little bit more, but effectiveness-wise, the offenses find a way to sometimes get the job done. Offenses look a little bit iffy at times, but they've looked good at times as well. They're very similar in how they play. If you can beat the Steelers, that's why I think the Steelers might be the more impressive win. If they can, say they lose to Houston, but then they beat the Steelers, I feel the same way that you're talking, even if they did only win one of these two games that they have here over the next week, because they're playing what I think is a better team in the Steelers, where you're facing a more elite defense, which is, who else has an elite defense that they'd face other than the Steelers? I mean, Denver, they've already gone through them twice. They've already shown that. I don't know if you can be concerned more about the Ravens than you would maybe the Steelers because of how good
the Ravens
defense
is. Not worried at all. Not worried about the Ravens. But again, the question I pose is involving 15-1. I mean, I think obviously the Steelers game is the tougher, but that's why I think tomorrow's the game you have to have. You have to have tomorrow's game because of the short turnaround. You have to give yourself the wiggle room with the final two. You have to put yourself in a position to where you win against the Texans, and then you just have to win one between the Steelers and between the Broncos. Excuse me. That's the position you have to put yourself in, because I've said this all week, guys. I'm somewhat terrified of post-Texans game what Mahomes' ankle and mobility is on the road at Pittsburgh. I'm actually not terribly concerned about tomorrow. Really not. I think Mahomes all week, the treatment, he's been through this thing before. He was a full participant all week. I'm really not as concerned about that. My concern is the 2 days, 3 days after Saturday's game and not having a full week to get treatment, having to get on a plane, go play in, I haven't looked at the weather forecast. I'm not allowed to anymore after my whole Celsius confusion in Cleveland. They're going to play at Pittsburgh on a Wednesday. That's what's terrifying if they lose tomorrow. So I think you got to have this one. Got to have this one tomorrow against Houston.
It actually won't be too bad. It'll be like 40 degrees and cloudy. It's not terrible. It could be worse. It could be on Sunday in Pittsburgh. It's 26. It's 26 and sunny is the high. So the weather's going to be better than it is this weekend.
Okay.
For
now, as far as the Texans directly, like how do the Chiefs win this game tomorrow? We just had a guest on from Houston. If you missed it during the Chiefs Red Half Hour, the Chiefs' offensive line is their problem. The Texans' offensive line is their problem. The Texans' defense is on the verge of a franchise record in sacks. They're the second in the NFL with 45. That's the name of the game. On the flip side, C.J. Stroud last year was a top 4 quarterback against the blitz in a couple different metrics within a DVOA. This year, he's 31st out of 32 qualified quarterbacks. And that's the name of the game. We always you simplify things. It's a battle of the trenches and all that. It truly is in this game tomorrow. Can the Chiefs do what every other team has done really this year? That is sack the quarterback. In this case, we're talking about C.J. Stroud. Can they do? Everybody else has done it against the Texans. And look, everybody else has been able for the most part to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Now, last week they got pressure on Mahomes. They weren't sacking him left and right, but we know the ankle injury now this go around. Joe Thuney looks like he'll be the left tackle for Kansas City tomorrow in this game with DJ Humphries not practicing all week, and there's a chance Humphries is available against the Steelers on Wednesday. But that's the name of the game here. The Chiefs are 5th in overall defense. They finally got some turnovers last week. Can they carry any of that over? The turnovers are still a big question mark for me. That was 6 takeaways after only having 10 all year. But the thing that has been trending in the right direction overall is just the defensive play, period, getting pressure on the quarterback. What they've done, going back to the Raiders game, Chargers game, and then last week against Cleveland. Step up in competition against Houston, sure. But C.J. Stroud is not the same quarterback this year as he was a year ago. He just hasn't been because of pressure. Sounds kind of familiar, right, when we talk about Patrick Mahomes. The difference is I know Mahomes on a third down is still capable of making the crunch time play with 2 minutes to go. C.J. Stroud hasn't done that much this year. As great as he was last year, he's been kind of average. I'm not saying his career he's going to now be an average quarterback, but he's been average this year. The Texans are kind of an average football team.
Do you think that Mahomes, obviously you would think he doesn't have the mobility.
We've seen this before, though. Do I think he can still have one run that moves the chains? Yeah, because we all saw the Super Bowl a couple of years ago against the Eagles. He re-injured that ankle in the game.
The Bengals game.
And he still had that long run. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I don't have the audio in front of me, but 2 weeks ago we played the audio where he talked about knowing when you got to have it versus when it's sliding down or protecting yourself. I think he's a smart enough football player to know in this game. Now, in the first quarter, is he going to push the mobility? Probably not. But if it's late in the game and it's 3rd down and 8 and there's room to run and he's got to have it, do I think he can push it? Yeah, because he's done it before, even with the bad ankle. But do I think that otherwise he's going to try, be able to take off and be as mobile? No, I think that'll be something to watch all game long. And this offensive line has to put together one of their best performances of the season, knowing that Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter have, what was the number I just mentioned? Was it 45 sacks or whatever that they put out there? That's going to be the biggest test that they've had in a bit. Even more, I would argue, even more than Myles Garrett last week. Myles Garrett's a better football player than the two guys, but there was nobody else that you were worried about in addition to Myles Garrett. You have Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson this go around tomorrow afternoon at Arrowhead.
I can't remember if it was you or Cody who said this, but you and I both kind of piggybacked off of each other in terms of the picks of Pacheco's rushing attempts, Pacheco's rushing yards. His rushing yard total is 52.5. You would think that, I mean, I don't know if you can go on the alt line and you could just get free money, I guess.
You
in
can't.
A way,
FanDuel now has this thing you can do, something called Your Way. You can. There's like a scroll bar, and you can do like whatever yardage total you want. You want to move it down to 34. You want to move it up to 79. Like you can do whatever, and the odds, of course, will fluctuate. You can truly choose whatever yardage you want.
Because I think in a way we had discussed it earlier in the week. Is this what it's going to take? Was Mahomes' injury what it would take for Andy Reid to say, you know what, we're going to run the ball more consistently, more effectively, something that he's admitted to needing to do. I wonder if you're in a position where say the Chiefs get up 10-0 or 10-3. Are you just going to hammer the run on a regular basis and just win ugly?
We for one game maybe. Well, that exact scenario was there for Andy in Cleveland, and we all know what happened. They were up more than just 10-3.
Yeah,
right. 21-7 or 21-0 or whatever it was, and we know they did not do that.
I think him getting hurt is kind of what it would take for them maybe finally to do that
for one game. I don't know if he's going to.
If they're ahead even.
For one game, maybe. I do think when your quarterback gets hurt, it causes you to step back for a second, even though this is something people have been suggesting for weeks, if not going back years in his career.
You've been pounding the table.
Run the freaking ball, yes. Yeah, it's been. I mean, I'm not alone in that.
No.
Maybe the injury causes that to happen. I don't think that's, overall he's not changing. It's a one-game thing. Maybe tomorrow. But it also requires them getting off to a good start.
Is there anything that scares you the most? Is it the offensive line in terms of
for the Chiefs to struggle with?
The way that the Chiefs lose this game is pressure, and they just can't.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's that Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter are consistently winning their one-on-ones, and Mahomes is running for his life, and he gets his ankle rolled up on again, and he's hobbled, and all of a sudden the whole thing falls apart. Yeah, that's the night. That's the devastating scenario. Defensively, I actually feel pretty good about this defense heading in. We just mentioned there's an opportunity to get after C.J. Stroud. The Chiefs, I really truly believe they've been playing a lot better. They are trending in the right direction defensively. So it's more about the offense for me in this game, not the defense. And that's why when we had our guest on from Houston, we were talking about this game kind of feels like it might be an under. What's the latest number? Was it 42 or 41.5 or something? I don't have it in front of me, but kind of has that vibe. We'll talk more about this with Jay Binkley in just a second. Jay Binkley's going to join us around 12:30 or so. Just a couple final thoughts, though, on last night with the Chargers and the Broncos game. I thought it was a really good Thursday night game. It also had the history of the drop kick, the free kick for the first time since the 70s, and that really swung the entire game. Right before half, the mistake by the Broncos gives the Chargers the opportunity for that field goal. They get the big 3 points, and then they just took over in the second half, and they pull away and get the win. And now the Broncos and Chargers are both 9-6, but the Chargers have the higher percentage chance to make the playoffs over the Broncos, even though the Broncos still are in a pretty good spot to do so. I watch both those teams, and I don't think they're as dangerous as they were a couple weeks ago. I don't. Can they win on the road in the postseason? I'll tell you, whoever's the 7 seed, if it's the Broncos or Chargers, right now it's the Broncos, they are not going to Buffalo in the opening round of the playoffs and winning. They are not doing that. Not with a rookie quarterback. I looked this up last night. 11, I think it is now, 11 rookie quarterbacks have won their first playoff game ever. C.J. Stroud last year was the 11th, I believe. History is very much against Bo Nix going on the road, and you're going to take on a Buffalo team that everybody tells me is the best team in football. I don't see it.
Yeah.
Then can the Chargers, as a 6 seed, go to Pittsburgh or go to Baltimore? They can be really competitive in that scenario. Like, if you told me the Chargers had to go to Pittsburgh, I think it could be competitive. I wouldn't pick them to win that game. Going to Baltimore, I actually give them a better chance. We get the Harbaugh Bowl Part 2. That'd be fun, right? All right, sign me up for that. Ravens win the AFC North, and we get Ravens hosting the Chargers in Wild Card Weekend. That'd be fun. Harbaugh in Baltimore with his brother.
What was the score of that game again? I don't have it.
Which
in front
one?
Of me.
Last night's or
the one of the
Harbaugh Bowl.
Yeah, the Harbaugh Bowl. Because didn't the Ravens beat up on them pretty good? If I remember correctly,
it was in LA. Week 12. What was the score? 30-23. Baltimore won.
Okay, I think that because I think you're right. I think they would struggle maybe more against the Steelers just because the way that their defenses looked a little bit more iffy, where they know going in the Ravens offense is obviously going to be really good, but how many points, it almost depends on the defensive output. Like if their defense is really good, then they know that they'll be able to hang in there. But if they have to go into a shootout because the defense can't stop anybody with Baltimore, is the Chargers offense, I know Herbert's probably capable, but is that offense just in general capable of going? I think
they might be getting
with.
Is there a chance they get J.K. Dobbins back?
They mentioned it last night, I think, on the broadcast. He could be back in a couple weeks or next week, maybe.
That's a huge part, I think, of this for the Chargers offense. Let's see. Chargers running back on IR.
Because Gus Edwards was a little bit beaten up last night.
Yeah. He's on IR, but I don't know if there's a chance he's back for the playoffs or not.
They mentioned his name coming back for the playoffs, or by the playoffs.
Sprained
last
MCL.
night.
You would think he might be able to come back eventually. Expected to miss some time. I didn't say the whole year. So anyway, that could change the dynamic for the Chargers, perhaps. Up next, though, let's check in with Jay Binkley. Be great to talk to him about not only the Chiefs-Texans, but he is fired up for tonight and tomorrow with some college football, playoff football overall, opening up the bracket tonight. We're going to get to that next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Hey, it's Alex Gold from Max Motors in Belton, and before we know it, we're going to have inches and inches of snow on the ground. And I know none of us want it, but it's going to happen. We've all lived in Kansas City long enough to know the snowstorm will be here before we know it. And you want to make sure you have a reliable vehicle that can handle that kind of weather. That's why I was excited when I had a chance to go down to Max Motors and test drive the 2024 Jeep Compass 4x4. One of 25 in stock right now. A new 2024 Jeep Compass 4x4 starting at just $24,995. Stock number 90114. And maybe you got a bigger family. You got to take the kids to soccer practice. You just want to have a little bit more room. They also have new 2024 Chrysler Pacificas up to $11,000 off MSRP. Stock number S240345. And maybe it's time for you just to trade in that vehicle. Max Motors has the best financing options available with the max trade-in values in the Midwest. See dealer for details. It's Max Motors, just a short drive to Belton. Max Motors, the easiest place to buy a car. MaxMotors.com.
This Friday only in Old Navy stores. Long sleeve tees are just $5 for adults and $4 for kids. Yep, long sleeve tees are $5 for adults, $4 for kids. But hurry, this deal is one day only this Friday at Old Navy stores. Valid 12/20 in stores and select styles only.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
You could win an ugly sweater every Friday in December at 7 p.m. Get to the lodge to see how to enter to win. Plus, score free chips and queso when you come wearing an ugly sweater to celebrate National Ugly Sweater Day. Available all day on Friday, December 20th.
Are you in need of top quality metal for your next project? Look no further than Metal by the Foot. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. The Foot. Blue Demon Welding Supplies, filler rods and wire. The Foot. Bronius Professional Welding Equipment Service and Repairs. The Foot. Located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
The election is finally over. Now you can get the cash you need. Imagine what you could do with $50,000. Pay off credit cards, do home improvements, or even pay off auto loans. Golden Oak's mortgage rate is 5.25%. There's no out-of-pocket costs, so call today and make no payments until next year. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
6.19 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Hello, I am fabulous.
Oh, you mean like Kansas Lottery's Fabulous Fortune Instant Ticket Fabulous?
I mean, like I speak 5 languages and come from old money fabulous.
Oh, well, Fabulous Fortune can lay some new money on you. 4 chances at $500,000 to be exact.
Talk more.
Fabulous Fortune also gives you a second chance at $500,000 with the Play On app.
I think I've been out fabulous.
Really?
No.
Okay, play Fabulous Fortune. CKSLottery.com for details.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
What's up, sandwich heads? Today on Steve-O's Sandwich Reviews, we've got the tips and tricks to the best sandwich order. And it all starts with this little guy right here. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Partial to pastrami, craving a Cubano. Yeah, sounds delicious, but boom! Add the crisp, refreshing taste of Pepsi Zero Sugar and cue the fireworks. Lunch, dinner, or late night, it'll be a sandwich worth celebrating. Trust me, your boy's eaten a lot of sandwiches in his day, and the one thing I can say with absolute fact... every bite is better with Pepsi.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line, golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Thanks to Total Wine, you saved more on all the gifts for the ones you adore. Wine, spirits, beers, all nestled on shelves.
Curbside pickup available and the lowest prices for over 30 years only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly. B21.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Celebrate the magic of the season with last-minute deals at Target. With up to 50% off toys and video games, you'll save so much while you finish your list. Plus, you'll find incredible deals on clothing, beauty, small appliances, floor care, and so much more. And there are even more ways to save when you join Target Circle for free and get exclusive deals automatically. Hurry to save on gifts before last-minute deals are over. Happier holidays from Target. Restrictions apply.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a Pick 6, or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game. And tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Deck the halls with
Boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Drew Nixon.
Hopefully Bink likes Christmas
with you.
music.
We're going to find out, aren't
so.
we? Hanging out here on a Red Friday in KC. We're about 25 minutes away from a fan club Friday. Kramer's going to join me in studio on the 1 o'clock hour. We'll talk some football. We'll talk whatever the heck else is on our mind as well. We'll have a couple drinks heading into the weekend, plus our game predictions. But it's been a bit since we had Jay Binkley on the show. We go out to the hotline. We welcome in our guy, Jay Binkley, who must be feeling amazing about some college football that gets going tonight. What's up, man?
You know what? Well, yeah, what's up? Hey, I'm glad Kramer's coming in during the fan club. I just got yesterday. I got one of those magnets. He sent a magnet that said "Save the date." He's got a date planned up for his wedding, man.
Wow.
I was blown away. I was like, whoa.
All right, thank you for that. Now I can ask him about it. I did not know that. There you go. Obviously, I know he's been engaged for a while. I know he's been engaged for a bit, but that's exciting news. So we'll definitely discuss that with Kramer. But everybody wanted this college football playoff expanded, Bink, and everybody was excited about these campus sites.
It's ridiculous.
We get it tonight, and we get 3 games tomorrow. Overall, though, do you like how it's shaping up? I guess I'll ask you, because we're seeing reports that ticket sales and attendance might not be what people thought it's going to be. What do you make of how this is all going to play out this weekend?
Well, there's a few reasons for that. Obviously, people can't go to every single week. Like if your team's good, and a lot of people are holding out, for the quarterfinals, and we'll see what the bowl game situation is the next round. A lot of people are home for the holidays. They're not staying around there. I am disappointed. I figured that the ticket prices would be a lot higher at these games. But when you have a bunch of people trying to budget themselves, I mean, we know how tight things can get. You got this game, then you got the next game where you got to fly and go to the Sugar Bowl and then have the championship game. You got to be traveling a lot, so there's a lot to put into it. But when you see these matchups, like I'm fired up for Notre Dame and Indiana. I mean, I am like through the roof. I mean, they're playing in the college football in the North. It never snows usually during college football season, a little bit, but you got snow on the ground in South Bend tonight. But you look at these matchups, you're saying, man, they could have been doing this for years, and they should have been doing this for years. This is going to be an absolutely gold mine as far as ratings are concerned.
Is this the game, though? You said that is it because of the first one you're most excited for, or is it that Ohio State-Tennessee one tomorrow night? Because that's the game that I think everybody is actually most intrigued by. Tonight's fun because it's the first one, and maybe Indiana covers and keeps it close.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that because it kicks things off, tonight. I'm watching a couple of bowl games now. Florida's getting ready to play Tulane in just a little bit, and Jacksonville State on now. But tonight, it gives you something to look forward to. College game day is coming on at 2:30. Like College game day is going to do this, and they're going to go to Columbus, Ohio, and do College game day the next day. It's insane. And you have Penn State games starting an hour before the Chiefs. And, of course, the Chiefs are on. And then it goes right back. We got some college football playoffs. Again, it's Tennessee and Ohio State. Later that night, it's Clemson and Texas around 3 o'clock or so. But the division, if someone's an FCS fan, like North Dakota State or something like that, they're playing their semifinals tomorrow. If you're a D2 fan, like if you went to Pittsburgh State or Northwest Missouri or University of Central Missouri,
there it is.
They're playing their title game tomorrow. Think about that. Think about the college football playoffs, the NFL D1 playoffs, the D1 AA quarter semifinals, and the D2 championship all in one day. That is insanity.
Oh, tomorrow's an epic day, no doubt. Tomorrow's an epic day. Let me ask you, though, as I look at all these matchups, and we're all excited about the college football playoff and what that means, I can't help but step back and also be like, man, this was the year we all thought that at least one, if not two, of the 3 locals were getting in this dance, and we're sitting here, and one of them's not in a bowl game. The other 2 are in bowl games that nobody really cares about.
Yeah, and you know what makes them look bad? Indiana. Indiana makes them look bad because they're looking at this saying, because Indiana is not a traditional powerhouse. Correct me if I'm wrong, Drew, but doesn't Indiana have more losses than anybody in Division I?
Well, in terms of what? Like, you mean?
It's losses, total losses, program history.
Shoot, I don't know that stat, but I can tell you that they're in the running for sure.
Yeah, but it's been a more button program, and when you're thinking about it, you're going, all right, Missouri just wins the Cotton Bowl. Kansas State fell on expectations. They got to be really disappointed about their season. I know they're playing in a bowl game, but to be honest with you, they only finished one game better than Kansas in the Big 12 standings, which is crazy. That game that came down to the wire between Kansas and Kansas State, they just found one spot above them. But when you see Indiana, in the playoffs, and when you see Boise State in the playoffs, and if you're Missouri and Kansas State, you got to be sitting there shaking your head going, why not? Why not us? Why can't we get into it? I think it's got to be frustrating for them.
We're talking to Jay Binkley here on 96.5 The Fan. All right, let's run through these kind of quickly. Indiana, Notre Dame tonight. The Hoosiers 6.5-point underdogs. They were 7 at one point in time. Do you give Indiana a chance to pull off a pretty big upset here against their in-state rival, or do we think we're just going to have a close game, but Notre Dame ultimately wins?
Yeah, Notre Dame's just playing too good a football. Ever since game one in the A&M game, I mean, they're just playing good ball. I mean, they just fundamentally sound on defense, on offense. They're scoring at will. I like the quarterback play with Riley Leonard. But I like Indiana, and I've liked Indiana all year. I did watch them against Ohio State. Ohio State had their way with them. They really did. So can they kind of put that, out of sight, out of mind? But I do like Notre Dame in this one.
The game.
I don't want to. I'm going for Indiana, but I think Notre Dame.
I'll get your ultimate semifinal national championship stuff in a second, because Drew and I are in lockstep on Notre Dame. We both think there's a chance they're in the national title game. But
yeah,
the game tomorrow morning, on paper, it sure seems that SMU Penn State's the one like nobody's really all that excited about. It's like, and I guess the ticket prices are kind of showing that as well.
They're reflecting that, and I think a lot of people are thinking about the next round. And you're thinking, if Penn State goes to the next round, and then you get a couple more games to go to, and you got airfare and hotel and all that to spend. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I mean, SMU is one of those teams that they've got to have a chip on their shoulder. I mean, this was a team that, first year in the ACC. Kevin Jennings is a fantastic quarterback. This was a guy that never had any offers. He had like 2 offers in college football. One of them was the Missouri State. He was the quarterback of SMU, and he committed to Missouri State. They pulled his commitment, and he ends up going to SMU. But it's a fun team to watch. Rhett Lashley's done a great job with them, and they're going to try to prove they belonged in there more than Alabama did. But Penn State is just the machine. I mean, with Drew Aller, supposedly he's going to come back even next year at quarterback. He was the guy that we looked at maybe he was a first-round quarterback this year. Tyler Warren, their tight end, I feel is the best tight end in college football. I don't think he's at the level, obviously, of Brock Bowers. But when you're thinking who can be his next studs in the National Football League going forward, Tyler Warren is the guy to watch.
It does feel like SMU, if they lose, especially if they were to lose by a decent margin, you're exactly right. The conversation, certainly from those in SEC country, will be, well, see, Alabama should have been in. You know that's coming, right?
Yeah, you know it's coming. But, I mean, the bottom line is they didn't take care of business when they had an opportunity to. And that's the one thing about it. And SMU, coming back at the end against Clemson that a lot of people are sleeping on that play Texas. Clemson was kind of an afterthought of not getting in the playoffs, and they win the ACC title game, and nobody's talking about them. Now you got Dabo Swinney, the head coach, going out here and signing people in the transfer portal, and he's never done that in his history, but he's doing it like crazy now.
We're going through some of the college football playoff games this weekend, an epic weekend of both NFL and college action. Talking with Jay Binkley. All right, Clemson and Texas, this one in Austin. The biggest spread of the entire college football playoff opening weekend. Texas, 12.5-point favorites. Clemson, I think a lot of people are looking at them as someone that can maybe cover, but is Texas just going to go ahead and roll?
Man, I don't know. They have these opportunities. They made a lot of mistakes in that SEC title game. I mean, they had chances to kind of put away Georgia, and they let a backup quarterback, really with hardly any experience. He's played a few games, Gunnar Stockton at Georgia, played a few games. He let him come in there and beat them and go to overtime and beat the University of Texas. Watch out for Clemson, though. This is a head coach with 2 national titles. They haven't hit the transfer portal this year. There's nobody that transferred in. They're the only non-service academy. Did not have any transfer portal players. They've adopted that going forward next year. Their quarterback, Cade Klubnik, will be a guy that plays on Sunday in the NFL. Looks like there's a good chance he'll probably go back to school next year. But Clemson could be a dangerous team. And, I think Texas wins this game. But Quinn Ewers, this could be an interesting game because Quinn Ewers was a guy that a lot of people thought high on the Heisman list at the beginning of the year. He was a guy that we thought could be a first-round draft pick, and a lot of people thought he'd be a first-round draft pick, and most mocks had him as a first-round pick. And then that kind of slipped. And then he was replaced in one game with Arch Manning. Arch Manning goes in and wasn't very good either. But for all intents and purposes, they're going to Arch Manning next year. They've made that very clear. They're going to Arch Manning to be their quarterback. Now, the question is, will Quinn Ewers, if he has a nice, successful run in the college football playoffs, will that catapult him back into good graces in the National Football League into the first round? Or if he goes out and gets bombed right away, where's he going to end up transferring and become a multimillionaire? Because that's what's going to happen. He could end up Missouri.
That'd be something. Be a hell of a get for Missouri if they ultimately were to pull something like that off. All right, Tennessee and Ohio State, Bink. I'm almost more interested in like the subplot, which is what happens if Ohio State loses? Ryan Day's done, right? So that's what I'm fascinated with that angle within this game.
Yeah, it's interesting because I heard some talking heads on TV talking about this game, and they're like, "Hey, if Ryan Day wins the national title, he still deserves to be fired." I was like, "If he wins the national title, they aren't going to fire Ryan Day. They're just not going to."
Could he leave though? Could he just leave? I mean, that's also been thrown out there that Ryan Day maybe decides I don't have to deal with your guys' crap. I'm out.
He doesn't want to deal with it. You know, a lot of people are tired of it. You know, as far as Ohio State and some of the things, Kirk Herbstreit was on Twitter even the other day because his son committed to play quarterback at Michigan. And obviously Michigan, Ohio State, big rivals. He goes, "Now one coach to Ohio State sent me a congratulations for my son." And, you know, Kirk Herbstreit is Mr. Ohio State, but, you know, he's kind of, you know, salty with the coaching staff there. It's a great fan base. It's a great program. I mean, the recruiting is insanity. Jeremiah Smith, one of the best, hands down, one of the best wide receivers. I think he could be even better than Marvin Harrison Jr. in the future. They got a lot of talent going forward, but Ryan Day, you got to be kind of tired of that. I know that at Alabama, you know, even guys like when Francione was down there as the head coach of Alabama, they talked about, you know, no matter where you went, to get a haircut, going out to eat, wherever it is, people are always wanting to talk about the program. And people come down maybe kind of harsh on Ryan Day. And do they think that going a different direction and trying to go get a Mike Vrabel, which would probably be a good idea, but Ryan Day has beaten everybody but Michigan. But you know what? That happens. You know, sometimes these guys get in a rut and lose. Jim Harbaugh couldn't beat Ohio State in the beginning, and then all of a sudden he started beating them every year.
All right, I want to get your thoughts on the Chiefs in a second, Bink, but let me ask you, who do you have getting into the semis and the national title? You know, there's all these bracket contests that are out there. Drew and I mentioned earlier, we're actually in lockstep, which I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but we have Notre Dame in Oregon, and I have Oregon beating Notre Dame in the national title game. Where are you at?
You have Notre Dame and Oregon. When did you have Notre Dame losing to? Did you have them losing to Georgia or beating Georgia? Oh,
I have in the national title game. Yeah. I have in as far as other matchups within it, doesn't really matter. I have Boise State winning their one game and then losing to, I guess it'd be Notre Dame then at that point, if I'm reading the bracket.
Yeah,
right.
I'm going to take Georgia, and I'm going to go Dan Lanning and the University of Oregon. I'm taking 1 and 2. I feel that they're the two best programs.
Even with the backup quarterback at Georgia?
I know, with Gunnar Stockton.
Wow.
And there's only one thing that could happen. If Gunnar Stockton's not good, because sometimes these teams rally behind their quarterback, and I know FSU's throwing a fit because, hey, their quarterback's hurting, they're in the playoffs. But Penn State, if they get by Boise State, and then, of course, they can beat Georgia. But Georgia's one of those teams, Alex. Are they the greatest team in the world? No. I mean, to be honest with you, they remind me of the Chiefs. I think there's a big parallel between the two programs, to be quite honest with you, because, you know, they didn't win the title last year, but they won 2 national titles the 2 previous years. The Chiefs have won 2 Super Bowls. Everybody's watching Georgia saying, they don't really have any superstars on offense. Mind you, the Kansas City Chiefs, they win games close. They beat Kentucky by a few points playing at Kentucky, and they're not very good this year, but on the road, barely beat them. They keep going, though. They went to an 8 overtime game against Georgia Tech at the end of the year, but Georgia won. And guess what? Because they had that ice water. It's that program. It's that culture. Then they go to overtime against Texas in the SEC title game, and then they win. But it's one of those things where they just keep winning. If your name's not Alabama, they don't lose to you. But I see a lot of parallels between the Chiefs and Georgia because just when you want to dog them and be down on them, they just keep winning.
All right, so there's your pick for the college football playoff. Real quick, tomorrow, Chiefs, Texans. I think this is the one they have to have, considering possibly needing to go 2-1 if the Bills don't drop one. And I don't trust how Mahomes' ankle will feel after tomorrow's game, not during tomorrow's game, but after tomorrow's game going into the short week. You think the Chiefs and Texans is this a dangerous one, or are the Texans just a team that has shown they're pretty average?
I think they've been a big disappointment this year. I mean, as a team, I know that they're going to win the division. They're going to go to the playoffs. But I thought they would take the next step, because usually you see these programs, win, and all of a sudden they start taking the next step and becoming, like the Chiefs did. Mahomes, they didn't quite get the Super Bowl first year, then boom, they crashed through the door. But C.J. Stroud had a down year, but they do have a lot of talent on that. The defense is especially talented. DeMeco Ryans is a hell of a defensive coach. Once again, I think it's a close game. I think the Chiefs will go back to the run. Not only that, but I think it's a necessity to run the football, or they've been continuing the quick passes from Mahomes. Even though he wasn't sacked at all against Cleveland, the pressures were up. I mean, he was pressured almost all the time, and they were hitting him. I mean, it was the same philosophy people used to do against Brady and Manning. If he had an opportunity to beat him, they just keep beating him. Just right there at the whistle, hit him, just knock him down and frustrate him, get him to the point of frustration. I think the Chiefs win. Derek Stingley Jr. really concerns me at corner, because he's really good, but I love the way the defense is actually making good decisions, and they look completely different the last couple of weeks, and forcing those 6 turnovers against Cleveland. I think they really got a lot of confidence, but man, it's going to be nice to see Hollywood Brown back with this offense, because you'll get probably a glimpse of what this offense was supposed to look like going into the year before he got hurt. Now, I would love to see a Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, and DeAndre Hopkins. That would be actually, they'd have one of the better wide receiving groups if that were the case. But Hollywood Brown is a very dependable guy, great against man coverage. I'm looking forward to seeing him Saturday.
Bink, great to hear from you, man. Appreciate you coming on. Enjoy. I know you will. I know you'll enjoy the college football and NFL this weekend, and I'm sure you'll be texting a few times this weekend about some of these games. Looking forward to it.
Oh, got to, fellas. And I have a Hy-Vee. They deliver beer. I mean,
oh my gosh!
So get some snacks, and I got some beer.
There you go.
Get after it, Bink.
Yeah, I did. But anyway, you guys have a Merry Christmas, and
you too.
I tell you what, I look forward to talking football with you guys. Happy holidays.
Hey, thanks, man. Happy holidays as well. That's Jay Binkley joining us here on 96.5 The Fan. Coming up in 10 minutes, a Fan Club Friday. We'll talk some more Chiefs and college football, plus just whatever the heck else is going on in life. Kramer's going to join us in studio. We'll have a couple drinks before the weekend. But Drew's got a random question.
Random question.
Okay, so I haven't put much thought into this, actually.
Oh, that's great.
This is kind of spur of the moment.
That's great to hear. Awesome.
I know, the way you teased it, as soon as I was like, dang it, I'm supposed to come up with one of these. I forgot about that. No, so 913-586-7965. Hit us up on the J Southland Tow Service text line. As Cody would say, we are on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. However you're listening to the show, watching, we appreciate you. So Bink mentioned he's getting drinks delivered.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's got like their typical drink. Kind of did this for like October, but like fall or for the wintertime. Your go-to snack. Chiefs game tomorrow. What are you eating? What are you drinking for the game tomorrow?
So this is one of the rare home games I'm not going to tomorrow, mainly because it's a noon kick, and I do a betting show for our Odyssey Sports Betting Network that ends at 11. And I could still make it there, but quite honestly, I'm off next week, and so I'm going to watch it at a bar tomorrow with some friends and watch all the other college football games. So as far as what am I going to drink during the day when I watch, probably drink-wise, it'd probably just be standard like Coors Light or something, man. It's going to be drinking throughout the day, so you're not getting anything too heavy. And then it has nothing to do with the time of the year, but I love a good Philly cheesesteak sandwich, man. I love a good Philly cheesesteak sandwich. That's probably what I'm going to wear. I'm going to have a beer and a Philly cheesesteak sandwich before kickoff tomorrow. That's probably what I'll do.
I feel like wings is almost too obvious, but wings just sound really good. And it's not necessarily like a football thing. It just, if I'm sitting down and I'm watching a game, wings are just a go-to. Probably going to get some wings. I have free wings at Jefferson, so I might have to take advantage of that as well. I haven't used them this week.
That's from winning guillotine last year, isn't it?
Correct. Somebody said pizza rolls from the 913. Just standard pizza rolls. I don't know if you.
Yeah, I mean, if you're asking at home versus going. So okay, if I'm at home,
are you snacking?
At home, it's a bag of Tostitos chips, and I'm happy. If I'm just snacking on something, I'm watching the game at home. If I'm going out to a bar, it's obviously different.
So I'm curious if other fans are like me, where during games that of teams that I'm a fan of, I don't really eat or drink anything. Like I don't drink.
Huh? Are you just like nervous?
I'm like locked in, man.
So you don't you don't drink anything when watching the game? I'm even like water.
I guess like during a commercial break, I'll go and I'll drink like some water or something. Like so for the first time, I think maybe in my life, I had an alcoholic beverage while I was watching a Bengals game, and that was the Chargers game.
Yeah. If it's not a Chiefs game, it's way more laid back.
Normally, I'm too locked in. Yeah, exactly. If it's a game that I'm not as invested in, I'm able to just hang out or whatever. But I wonder, for the text line, do you eat or drink anything, or do you find yourself not actually? You're so locked in on everything that you're not actually eating or drinking anything during the Chiefs games.
If it's a road Chiefs game and it's not around the holidays where you might be like off of work or whatever, I probably don't eat during it either. Like I'll be on my laptop and we do notes and stuff. It's a little bit
like you're zoned in. Yeah.
We're in a different scenario just because we're working on it for some stuff for the show. It's different, but in general, for just a normal game, I don't. Text line says, let's see, what type of cheese on the Philly? Provolone sometimes, yeah. Swiss, provolone, just kind of depends.
Swiss would be a good go-to.
I know I don't do the Cheese Whiz stuff. Like I don't do that. Sometimes they'll put the cheddar, but and that's fine. But I don't like the canned stuff or whatever. Someone else says Drew's definitely not getting barbecue after his earlier conversation. That's true. And if you do, don't go to the place you suggested, which was a national chain.
Listen, is there even a Dickies here?
I think in Topeka, maybe.
Oh, okay. So that doesn't count as here then.
But yeah, there's way too much great barbecue in Kansas City for you to begin
I'm
a
not
chain.
saying I don't like the barbecue here, or my wife doesn't like it here. It's just that she was like, "Oh, some Dickies barbecue."
Someone else says, "Of course, Chiefs fans are drinking." Have you watched the end of these Chiefs games? That's true. Someone said they need a cigarette after Chiefs games.
That's I'm not about during. Like, are you so locked in? You can't even smoke a cig while you're watching the game.
Yeah.
Are you so locked in?
Someone else said that they go homemade tamales and a Yingling. There you go.
All right, that's.
What, are you going to San Antonio's or something? Getting some tamales?
Rotel and Little Smokies. Someone from the 620 says.
Little Smokies are great. Like, if you're doing like a New Year's Eve party at home and you're having people over, or New Year's Day, I'm sorry, back when everybody would watch the Rose Bowl and stuff on New Year's Day when that was a thing, that was definitely a thing. You get the Little Smokies, little toothpick Smokies, you're good to go.
Do you have like pig? I think pigs in a blanket are better than just Little Smokies.
I've never been a huge fan of those. Never been a huge fan. Last one for you. Someone says, Raiders fan here. No food or drinks during the game. Too nervous. Really focused on the game. Positive things are too far in between.
I'm telling you.
Well, thinking of a Raiders fan, I'm going to be surrounded. This is going to be terrible. Fan Club Friday, so Drew's producing. You guys know he's Mr. Cincinnati. Kramer is coming in studio. He's Mr. Raider, Mr. Cardinal. I mean, just enemy territory surrounding me. We're gonna have
Kramer's
some drinks.
Worse than I am, with all due respect.
We're gonna talk some football, college football, and I'm sure more on the holiday stuff as well. That's coming up next here on Cody and Gold.
Cody and Gold.
I didn't sleep well. I was drunk.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Hey, KC, when I discovered my new passion, I dove into social media, got on some shows, and soon Almost Andy Reid was born. But this winter, there's something new you might discover that's not as great. Issues with your garage door. Don't get stuck in the cold. Get your annual maintenance check for just $100 or a free replacement quote from my friends at Renner Garage Door. They carry top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, trusted locally since 1956.
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
Old Spice Swagger Holiday Pack, perfect for a gift to treat yourself.
24/7 holiday freshness with daily use can smell your bestest. I'm gonna be smelling great all season. Old Spice scents just can't be beaten. Chock full of value, saving that green. Got the essentials needed to feel clean. Deodorant, hair, body wash, and spray. Celebrate your holiday the Old Spice way. Ho 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 ho.
Thanks to Total Wine, you saved more on all the gifts for the ones you adore. Wine, spirits, beers, all nestled on shelves.
Curbside pickup available and the lowest prices for over 30 years only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly. B21.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan and the other place, especially with these great game day specials. 8 wings and a basket of tots for $12 plus $4 domestic OP cups. The other place, the next best thing to being at the game.
Has a loved one died and left you an old car to sell? GiveMeTheVin.com has just launched the new service GMTVCC.com. Write this down, GMTVCC.com, which is Give Me the VIN classic and collector car buying service. GMTVCC.com will hook you up with GMTVCC Pro buyers that will appraise and offer on that 69 Chevelle, old Corvette, old truck, and especially Restomods. We love Restomods at GMTVCC.com. Don't mess with consignments or auctions. Get paid today on your classic or collector car at GMTVCC.com.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. When sending a package, why venture outside? Ship with USPS for a true holiday ride. Want to stay cozy and warm? There's no need to roam. With free package pickup and labels printed from home. We have over 600,000 employees always in motion. And before you know it, your gift has delivered emotion. Spread the holiday joy this season with USPS's enhanced network. Learn more at USPS.com/holidayride.
Buying and selling a home is stressful. You want the best team on your side, and that's my friend Dawn Sharp and the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. To find the current value of your home, go to homesforsaleandkc.com. Click on the button, How much is your home really worth? Then the Sharp Homes team can give you options. If you want to skip the showings and open houses, you can do that with their instant offer program. Contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp. Google Sharp Homes team or visit them at homesforsaleandkc.com.
The holidays are a magical time to get engaged. At Shane Company, we're here to help you create your dream engagement ring in just 3 easy steps. Choose a setting that speaks to your style. Compare diamonds and colorful gemstones in all shapes and sizes. Then personalize it with a decorative crown and special engraving. Or choose a perfectly preset ring that's ready to go. At Shane Company, you'll find everyday competitive prices, a no-pressure environment, and an unmatched free lifetime warranty. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
What does it mean to be the official information technology provider for the Chiefs? It means everything. Technology Group Solutions makes sure everything runs flawlessly for the millions of fans that attend games and the hundreds of millions of fans that comprise Chiefs Kingdom around the world. Technology Group Solutions can deploy that same dedication, problem solving, and incredible service to ensure your business runs smoothly. Technology Group Solutions, powering Chiefs Kingdom, and ready to do the same for you.
A Gain Scent Bead story. Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said Maraca, senor, but his nose said, hey, freshest scent ever. Following his nose, Jim found a man pouring a bottle of Gain Scent Beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, sir, your scent Maraca smell amazing. Actually, Jim, most noses call them Gain Scent Beads. Try Gain Scent Beads, way fresher than detergent alone.
The college football playoff is here, and you don't want to miss a moment of the action. With the new 12-team format, it's guaranteed to be bigger and better than ever. TNT's coverage of the college football playoff begins December 21st, with SMU battling Penn State at noon Eastern. Then, Clemson Tigers look to upset the Texas Longhorns in a showdown at 4 p.m. Eastern. Watch the college football playoff, presented by Allstate on TNT and Max.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
We got a new function on the Odyssey app.
Did you guys know that this is a thing? I can send you messages from the Odyssey app. Kind of crazy.
KFNZ FM and AM HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
All right, let's get after it. A Fan Club Friday here on a Red Friday in KC. Holidays right around the corner. Alex Gold, Drew Nixon with you. Our guest today, we got Kramer in the studio.
Hello, hello. And the camera's working for you today, Kramer.
You're on
camera.
camera
Today.
He's rocking the Savannah Bananas hoodie. Did you go when they were in town last year?
I went the first year they were here. I could not get in through the portal and requesting
What about
tickets.
this one? They're coming to Kaufman this spring, aren't they?
I did put my name in for the drawing or however to
the
get
lottery.
in. Haven't gotten an email yet, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it's still processing. Because I want to go to it at Kaufman.
The hoodie. I mean, I thought the fact you had the hoodie made me think you've been going to all these.
So I've only been to one, but it's so hard to get in, man.
That's what I've seen.
The only reason why I was able to get to the first one, a shout out to my guy Brad. He was like, "Hey, I can't go. You want these tickets? $20."
Nice.
Yeah.
I think it's the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, and if you got kids and stuff, I'm sure it'd be awesome. All right, what are we drinking? You brought these in because we had a conversation in the bullpen, I don't know, a day ago, 2 days ago,
yesterday.
and we were just talking about, when's the last time you just had, and everybody called it something different. Last time you had a Bud Heavy. Someone else said a Diesel. We're trying to figure just original Bud.
Yeah.
No, just the OG.
Yes.
You just brought in some Bud Heavy, some Budweiser.
I love
so that's
this.
what we're drinking today. Thank you for bringing these. I haven't had just a classic Bud in a long time.
I'm really curious to see what Drew's going to think of
Drew,
this because he doesn't drink
this doesn't seem like a beer you would like. And this normally I would get if I were to get a Budweiser, it'd be a Bud Light, or a Coors Light if I'm going to go and drink like a domestic Pilsner or something like that.
The smell.
You just coughed?
I know. I literally just smelled it. Get you a smell, now get you a swaller. Gosh. Shout out to Roll Tide Willie on Instagram.
It's a little Bud Heavy.
You like
Bud
taste.
Heavy. In the wintertime, I'll give you this. In the wintertime, you can go Bud Heavy more. In the summertime, I'm just not going to drink a Bud.
So good. So good.
Is this your go-to?
Especially at baseball games. I eat this stuff up.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. I was saying I'm surrounded by kind of like enemies of the state here this hour. I got Cincinnati Drew. I got Raider Kramer and St. Louis Cardinal Kramer.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
what is going on? This is you both are, at least you've acknowledged it's better for your team to obviously just keep on losing.
Sure.
I told Drew weeks ago his team should have just kept losing because they're going to finish with 9 wins and still miss the playoffs and screw up their draft status.
You're telling me that the Dolphins will win out, the Colts will win out?
Yeah, or the Broncos. The Broncos will get 1 win. If they beat the Bengals next week, it's over. It's done for them.
That's gonna be a big one for you, Drew. It's gonna be huge.
You said you're rooting for me as well, Kramer, so I appreciate you.
I can see into my crystal ball if this could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Will it happen? I hope so.
Don't give them hope. Don't give them hope.
Because I think that's the only
set them up for a letdown.
That would be the only team that could possibly beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, though. That's the reason why.
Okay,
I'm just curious. I want a good game whenever it does happen.
Why are we doing this?
Me.
Why are we doing this?
I'm just saying it could possibly happen.
But you're not alone. You're not alone. I heard it on the Amazon broadcast as well. I truly don't get it. They're a 6-win team, and everybody last night saw the Chargers win. They're like, oh, here we go. Cincinnati, look out. They have to win 3 games, which last time I checked, I'm not great at math, but that's half of their existing season-long win total. They also need Denver to lose one of their final 2, or both of their games, right?
Yep.
And they need the Colts to lose one of their final games. The Miami Dolphins also to lose one of their final games. I mean, we're acting like, now they got a real chance. And then, if they get it as a 7th seed, they're going to go to Buffalo and beat Josh Allen. That defense is going to hold up real well.
So Bo Nix last night, he looked really bad. Like he looked like a first-year guy. And from us watching it, I could see the Broncos losing out. The only game that I am more concerned about, if anything, is if the Chiefs rest their starters in Week 18.
I hear you. Yeah, that's why I think if you're a Chiefs fan, you should have wanted the Broncos to win last night.
Oh yeah.
Just in case you need Week 18. But yeah, the scenario if the Chiefs win Saturday and on Wednesday, then you have the Chiefs probably resting their starters against Denver, or maybe they play a half against Denver, and that would hurt Cincinnati. That's actually a really fun scenario that the Chiefs could actually knock out Cincinnati by already locking up the number 1 seed. It'd be.
Yes. I mean, I feel bad for you, Drew, if that did happen, but you know what? I'm pulling for you, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Someone on the text line, 913-586.
I'm pulling for you guys to lose as well because that's what you want.
7965. Someone says, see what happens when Kramer sleeps in Cody's bed? Spreading false hope. Yeah.
It is a nice bet. I do admit it is very comfortable. I have slept on there maybe once or twice or two.
You have house sitted.
Yeah.
Twice, 3 times?
I think
for Cody?
Maybe 4 times
4?
now.
So you haven't slept on his bed every time then, is what you're saying?
No, I haven't. The last time I was on his couch majority of the time.
What made you decide to, you know what? Screw it. I'm sleeping in this man's bed.
He offered it. He said it's clean sheets. I even though I brought my own stuff. I'm like, hey, all right, I appreciate it. Brought my own pillow. I made sure it was clean. And may have left some soap there.
Queen or king size?
I don't think it was a king. I think it was a queen.
Queen size, yeah.
It's been a hot minute since I was in that bed, though.
I still think, man. People on the text line are split. I still think it's just it's a little
weird. What's
I know
between that and Airbnb?
people bring up the hotel bed because I don't know the person, and you're like, well, isn't that better? No, it's not. It's not better knowing that somebody that I know is him and his wife have been in that bed. I would rather it just be a random stranger I don't even know. I don't want to know. So I would just sleep on the couch.
I think it's weirder for Cody to offer the bed up to you because if he didn't offer it, you wouldn't sleep in his bed.
I'm not like I'm sleeping in his kid's bed or anything. That'd be more weird.
No. Well, yes, it would be. But
Kramer's in a twin bed, him and his wife.
No, I agree. I think if Cody didn't offer you the bed though, you wouldn't sleep in his bed. I don't think.
Yeah, probably not.
So I think the fact that Cody's like,
honestly,
hey, you can sleep in
not.
the bed if you want to, it's fine. I've never heard of that before. A lot of times, if I've ever my sister's house at multiple times, they've either offered it or if they haven't offered it, she's like, I'm sleeping on the couch no matter what, you know?
Don't get me wrong. I'm not going over to his house to sleep on his bed or anything. His dog is awesome. Like Rosie.
You're watching the dog as well as the house.
I'm hanging out
right?
with Rosie. I'm playing my Xbox. I bring that over. We're just hanging out, having a good time.
Nice. Yeah. And then I think, what was the other question? It's like, did you clean? Yeah, oh yeah. Did you clean the shower at least after you showered?
I mean, you wipe it down, duh.
Okay, just checking.
What do you think I'm doing in the shower?
That's what I was asking. I don't know.
I'm curious.
I don't know.
Am I getting clean or anything?
Getting clean, yes.
Exactly what's happening.
I don't know. I was just saying, like, you and your wife were staying there, or fiance, I'm sorry. Oh, by the way, I heard from Bink. He was just on with us. He said he got to save the date.
He did.
So there's a date?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
There's a date set for the wedding. You guys have been engaged for a little bit?
2.5 years.
Okay, I knew that.
It's been
Okay.
a long engagement, but it's worth it.
So when's the wedding?
September 13th of 2025.
Nice. Congratulations,
So I know
man.
it's a Saturday for football people, but
Oh, yeah.
you know what?
Are you sure Bink's going to show up? It's a
I'm
college
hoping.
football Saturday.
I'll make sure. I will let him. Hey, Bink, you need to pull the phone out and go for it. I'm cool with it, buddy. You're my guy.
Yeah, I was thinking at the minute you said September, I'm like, Bink can't be thrilled. He's thrilled for you, but
as long as it's not a Sunday, like I made sure it wasn't a Sunday because I'm going to be probably too hungover the next day, and I kind of want to watch some football. I want to see what my first round draft pick's going to do for my team.
Now, is the wedding in town? You guys going to do it in town?
Up in our hometown of St. Joe. So
Sure.
Be up there.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. There you go.
Yeah. It'll be fun.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank
You guys were both at the company holiday party.
We were.
We were talking about that earlier in the week. It was a great party. It was fun. We were at it at Arrowhead this year, so we've stepped our game
pretty
up.
cool.
Yeah, we've stepped our game up. The debate throughout the week, though, you heard Rob come in studio off air 10 minutes ago. He was giving Drew a hard time about even the Bud Heavies because he's like, hey, don't let Drew have 2 of those. He's gonna be a little too drunk. Drew was defensive, and understandably so. People were calling him out. I was actually, for once, I wasn't giving Drew a hard time.
I appreciate
Rob called Drew a lightweight. Cody called him a lightweight. I've kind of just let this thing simmer a little bit. You were with Drew during the company party. I don't know if you had a chance to talk to him.
Yeah,
he was throwing back cranberry vodka.
Is that what you were sipping on?
Cranberry vodka
it was
Sprites.
empty whenever we would pass and see each other, so you were getting down with it then.
I mean, and I felt great.
Good. I'm glad.
As in, like, if you had me walk in a straight line and count to 1,000, I could do it no problem.
The only thing is, I wish with Drew, he would have talked about this beer a little bit more, especially with the bottle. This guy has never had a Budweiser.
He hasn't. So
the Clydesdales. I was expecting you to come in on the Clydesdales.
Well, one, you should see the Clydesdales are incredible if you've never seen them in person.
Yes.
It's truly incredible. One of the few good things about the city of St. Louis. But basically, Kramer brought in. Sorry, I know you're a Cardinals guy.
I'm just a Cardinals guy. I don't care about the city.
Mm-hmm. The bottles are just your standard Budweiser bottle. And Drew's looking at it and he's like, I'm not gonna like this. There's hops on the bottle. There's hops embossed on the bottle. We're like, what are you talking about?
To the person who's been texting in today that wants me fired, I'm not trying to be funny, dude. I'm dead serious.
Somebody texted and said they wanted you fired?
Oh, no. There's a person who says they only listen for you two and they tried to like me, but they can't wait until I get another. They can't wait until I leave.
That guy is having a bad day, obviously.
Have a Merry Christmas. But yeah, I know. From a distance, I didn't take the time to really look. I was like, this looks like the hop. This looks like some hops here. There's some logos
that's
here.
the logo of. That's the Anheuser-Busch logo.
Have you see it now? It's a very nice logo.
So how much have you drank of this already?
I've had one sip and I'm not having another sip. If you want the rest of it, it's not good. Oh, I told you I'm not from. I am honest when I tell you I'm not a beer person.
I love this stuff.
There's some other beer in the fridge behind you.
I did see a lot of Fireball shots in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, yes. I'll go and do a whole Fireball shot. Okay. Well, let's go.
All right. We put some in the fridge. Our friends from Sazerac, right? Brought those a couple weeks ago. The party bucket.
Nice.
And we've got some Fireball shots.
Oh, someone says live in St. Joe drinks on me. Let's go.
There you go, Kramer.
Nice. Oh, and Merry Christmas to you, Micah. That dude.
Micah in Denver.
He can
Loyal listener.
He can fly. He's a superhero.
He can fly.
Yeah, off the top rope.
Oh,
yeah, he's a wrestler.
You know him.
Yes.
Okay.
Mighty Mike is what his name is. Stage name.
What is Drew brought in?
What we got here?
Oh, Drew's got his. Okay. He brought the Bud. So Drew brought the Bud Heavy back, and he just grabbed a shooter of Fireball instead.
Nice.
He'd rather have that. Look.
It's impressive.
That time of the year
you want to get down on shots at 114. I'm with it.
Someone says, get that man a Zima.
A what?
One of those, like, the blue bottle. It's like here, Google. You've seen the bottle before.
Someone said somebody give me some milk.
It's a clear, like, light, very light. It was made by Coors. I don't know if they don't even have it anymore, do they?
I don't think so.
They discontinued it in 08. Yeah, they discontinued it in 08. It was like a clear liquid with a blue label, silver lettering.
Drew's just not a beer guy.
No, we've that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. And by the way, this time of the year, I don't mind a Fireball shot occasionally. Did you just do it? Are you on video? Are you
the whole thing? I mean, I can do it.
That's how those are. I mean, you're not supposed to sip on it.
Sip on those.
You got to
things.
throw it back.
Yeah.
All right.
You're gonna have you throw it back. We're watching on video. We're streaming on Facebook.
Hang on.
That's supposed to be just a quick one you throw down.
Oh, you got frozen. Hang on a second. I want to make sure that.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, no, this
the glitch in the system.
Yeah, it's always a glitch.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said I like foo-foo drinks.
That's fun. Hey, if we had Josh Brisco,
margarita and I'm down, man.
Nothing wrong with the margarita at all, man. We had Brisco on. He was nice enough to call in and talk Chiefs with us. He's on a beach in Cancun, and I'm like, hey, if I'm on a beach, you can say whatever you want to say about me. If I'm on a beach, I will definitely go for the fruitiest strawberry drink that exists. No issue with that.
Just give me the tequila Sprite, and I'm good.
Someone says, better get Drew the puke bucket.
Okay.
Throw it back, buddy. Throw it back.
You know what? I'm not even going to defend myself. I don't even have time to defend myself. Here we go. All right, I'm going to do it.
He's got to take the headphones off
is
to
he
do
not
it.
good at taking shots?
I don't know. I can't even see it. He's turned the lights off over there.
He's being very shadowy.
Oh, he's turned the lights back on. I can't even tell. Okay.
He's done a lot of stuff in that.
Someone says Drew can dye his hair blonde, but he won't have a bud. That's all right if he doesn't want the bud, but at least he's gonna at least have some.
I like the blonde hair though. I don't like the Budweiser. Like I can have the Budweiser, but I don't like it.
Bud is good. I love Bud.
I bet. That's what
That's a shot. You didn't even finish the shot.
I know it's taking. It's not
throw it back. You're making it harder. You're actually making it harder on yourself. You're tasting every last drop of it. Just you gotta. I don't know. Someone's gonna get a drop. I was about to say something, and that'll become a drop on the show. I was gonna say you gotta open it up and let it go down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Open that throat.
There you go.
That's how you
all right,
shot,
Drew.
man.
There you go, man. All right, we're in business now. What do you make of the college football playoff, though? We'll talk Chiefs in a little bit, but we had Bink on. We were talking about that. This is a great 24-hour stretch of sports. For this time of the year, we've never had the NFL and college football playoff overlap. I know some people are like, hey, I don't want the games to cross paths. But that's what we have. And starting with tonight, I love it. This is going to be a really fun 24 hours or so. The game I'm most excited for probably is Ohio State, Tennessee, because there's also the subplot, as we know, with Ryan Day and the hate that exists there.
I can't stand Ohio State. So if they can lose, I'm cool with it. Go blue. Go blue.
That's right. You're a Michigan guy.
Oh, yeah. If Ohio State can lose, I'm cool with it. That's all I care about, this college football playoff run. But, I mean, I honestly have no idea who could win this because it's the brand spanking new playoff format.
Yeah.
Why did you say that drop when I was drinking? I'm crying. I'm crying right now. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's amazing.
Drew, I didn't fully say it. Kramer did. I said I wasn't going to say.
I knew where you were going, and
because I knew somebody would have said save that as a drop. I didn't want to have a drop of me saying that, so I purposely. Everybody knew what I meant, and then Kramer finished the sentence. But that's what you needed to do to execute the shot. No, Drew, you got your college football podcast, so obviously you've been locked into this all year.
Oh yeah.
The college football playoff, the way it's set up, the campus sites is what I think everybody's most excited about.
Yeah, it's the most exciting thing. It's unfortunate, though, the way that things have kind of gone, because it's reported out of Penn State they're only expecting like 70 to 75,000 fans. Their stadium holds like 100,000. Tennessee, obviously, we know that.
Yeah.
We don't know, I guess. I don't know if any have been sold out. The only one I think that has been sold out is Notre Dame, Indiana.
In-state rivalry, all that. And there's snow there, too. I mean,
correct.
Their fans, there was some video I saw this morning. Their fans are, we're lined up. Like kind of what we see.
$1,000 to get in, I think.
What we see for Arrowhead all the time. But for a college game, you don't typically see cars lined up to kind of get in to the parking lot and stuff.
So I think the one thing that's the big part of the conversation is we're all expected to see this and what it's going to be like. Apparently, too, because it's playoff weekend, we're not going to have the same, everything will be spaced out a little bit differently. Mm-hmm. So typical traditions either won't take place or they come after. It's not going to feel like the same game day vibe that you get on campus. I think what they should do, though, is because of all the kids going off the campus now, if you want to sell out the games and really make it feel like students on campus, it's loud, it's ruckus, move the season up a week. So week 0 becomes week 1. And then as a result, finals week might have ended like last week, or it might have ended this week, but people are already gone.
You say week 0 becomes week. You mean just one less week of college football? The whole week 0 thing is weird anyway.
I think you keep the same amount of weeks, but you move everything up a week. So what this weekend would have been like the 13th and the 14th, so everybody's still on campus still. I think that would cause for more students to be at the game, and it would be so like Penn State would have all 100,000 instead of just 70 or 75.
That would be epic. The only, I guess, issue I could see, so every school, every college, depending on where you are in the country, some of them start on different days, but if you move it up a week, then you're starting, August 5th? You're having college football games on the 15th of August? Ooh. That's kind of early. Wouldn't you? It'd be like the 15th or 20th of August.
So week 0 would end up being week 1.
Because next year Nebraska plays at Arrowhead, which is week 0, I think. Thursday, August 28th, they're going to play Cincinnati.
That's actually week 1. So
is that week 1?
Week 1. A lot of teams start week 1 on August 30th and 31st.
Okay, so then week 0, if they moved it up, it would be like August 15th. That's too early.
I think you just get rid of week 0 entirely, unless you So Joe Klatt, sorry, Kramer.
No, you're good.
Joe Klatt said he wants Army and Navy moved to week 0. Mm-hmm. I think what would be unique is you get rid of week 0 for everybody else except for Army and Navy. So they play on week 0, whatever it is. Everybody celebrates. It's a huge game. College football starting. I actually like the idea of having Army and Navy first, and then you go into week 1 on what would be the 23rd or whatnot, and then as a result, you get this first playoff weekend when kids are still on campus.
Let's be honest. They don't care who fills the seats of the stadium. They worry about the contract money of the TVs.
Yeah.
So what your analogy is right there to move it up, just added 4 more teams to the college football playoff, because that's exactly what they will do, is just add more teams in there just to make more money for those playoff formats.
Well, so I don't think 15 actually, or I don't think 16 is actually that bad of an idea, because
we have to wait till 2030.
Yeah, the
2031, right?
Unless something changes.
That's the contract for that.
Unless something changes regarding the contract, then that's the way that it would be. But you could have 2 rounds of the college football playoff on campus, essentially at that rate. Nobody gets a bye. All of a sudden, conference title weekend or winning your conference, not that it doesn't matter. It means that much more because of your seeding. You get to host a game. We might see, because Boise State was good enough this year. Their final spot in the standings, I don't think they would have hosted. But say you're an 8 seed, you still host. So a team could be good enough as a group of 5 team, maybe be an 8 seed and still host a playoff game. Or if they're a 10 seed and they upset somebody, they go on to play somebody who might have also been involved in an upset. And who knows, you might have a game on the blue turf. I think it features college campuses more, which I think is great for the game, because part of the love for college football is the tradition, the pageantry, and all the things that come along with it, where neutral site games are great, but there's something about being on campus I think that gives off a vibe. That's good.
I have the feeling all this will go to a neutral site at some point, just because how the basketball format is and how good it is. Because I've never gone to a March Madness game in my entire life, so I don't know how the Sweet 16 looks, the Elite 8, or however how jam-packed
it can be epic, man.
So if you've been there clearly,
Yeah.
how packed is the crowd? Is there a lot of people there? Is there not
It's
many?
all matchup dependent, right? I mean, if you're Omaha and you're hosting and Kansas is in your hub, it's going to be a great atmosphere, right?
Exactly.
If it's was it 2 years ago where T-Mobile Center hosted the regional finals?
Yes.
And I can't remember the teams that were here. You guys can, I'm sure someone on the text line will text it in 5 seconds, but Miami and Houston, and it was empty because there was no local tie-in. It was the year KU got bounced a little bit early, and so there was no. So it's dependent on, is there a local fan base nearby, or because folks from Houston were not traveling to Kansas City for the regional final. I think that was a year, if I'm not mistaken, Miami was in it as well.
That was the year that K-State went to MSG, is what you're saying, right?
I believe that's right. Yeah, 2 years ago. Then I think that's correct.
Yeah, that's where it gets unfortunate because you want to. That you're almost just stuck in a situation, Kramer, where the regions in the first and second round, that's more of a home court type of feel.
Yeah.
Where once you get to the regional finals, it's tough to gauge because
you get the
teams being so far away. Yeah,
and you start to get it certainly for the Final Four. I mean, you're in football stadiums now, and so the atmosphere there is like that. That's the only problem. What's nice for the opening rounds, it's still in small arenas. When you get to the Final Four, I'm fortunate. I was able to go to one when I was in college. We were in New Orleans, and it's the Saints Stadium, right? And even the media seating, we were we were on the lower level, but it felt like we were like a mile back.
You might as well be almost in club level.
It was
in a regular place,
crazy because the court, of course, is so small compared to what a football field is. So, someone says Miami, Houston, Xavier, and Texas. That sounds right. And
Xavier.
So that's why there wasn't a great atmosphere for that. Someone else says Army-Navy has to stay where it's at so we get the occasional epic snow game.
There have been some epic games with
It
Army-Navy.
would feel weird to see Army-Navy playing in August, but Army-Navy now playing after the college football playoff field is announced.
And they're in conferences now. They're no longer independent, either of them.
That's a bucket list game anyway. I would love to.
I still hate how Navy won this past week, but that's on me.
Huh?
Why? Why do you hate it? Did you have money on
I
Army?
had money on Army.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, you should have listened to the podcast, Kramer. I told you, Navy's winning this game.
Should have listened to the podcast, he said.
249 miles of college football podcast.
There it is.
He hands out winners apparently on that podcast.
College football. I told him that
We've been looking better.
He does his picks on
Saturday
Twitter.
6 picks. Yeah.
Saturday 6 picks. He does them straight up. I said next year you got to do picks against the spread though. Just doing straight up is not. You got to do spread picks, man. You got to do spread picks.
I try to pick games that are more even. Or like I'm not picking Alabama to beat College of Charleston or whatever. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
But like tonight, for example, it's much tougher to pick Indiana or Notre Dame to cover 6.5 points than it is just to pick the outright winner. Is all I'm saying.
Agreed.
You should do a little 6-pack of spread picks next year as well.
Okay.
On top of the outright ones.
And I'll tell you whatever you do.
There you go.
That's too much pressure now. That's the thing. That's too much pressure. If you're betting money based on my picks, I'm sorry, you're going to the wrong place because then I'm to blame. Don't do that.
The top text, Kramer. You have the text line pulled up?
Oh yeah, I do. I do not hate the troops.
Someone says, does Kramer hate the troops?
But I hate the fact you spelled my name wrong.
They did spell your name wrong.
With a K.
But it was also Army-Navy. Him rooting for Navy isn't really, it's still another branch of the military.
I mean, I think the Navy needs to figure out what's coming out of our ocean, but that's just me.
We got coming up next, we're going to talk about the drones. We'll talk about the drones on the East Coast and some Chiefs football right here on Cody and Gold.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
Neighbors getting new roofs due to hail damage this year? Then you're a likely candidate for a new roof, too. Century Roofing, voted best roofing company in Johnson County 3 years straight, is giving back this holiday season. For all roof repair and replacement contracts signed before the end of the year, Century Roofing will donate a portion of proceeds to benefit Operation Breakthrough, which helps KC kids in need. Visit CenturyRoofingKC.com for an inspection today. That's CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Century Roofing, trust the pillars of strength.
It's peaceful out here.
Yeah.
Oh, an owl.
Mm-hmm. And a bullfrog.
Is that a coyote?
I think that's a winner of the $100,000 cash adventure ticket from the Kansas Lottery.
Oh, yeah. I hear it now.
You could also win a $100,000 Bass Pro shopping spree.
CKSLottery.com for details.
It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan and the other place, especially with these amazing game day specials. 14-inch two-topping pizzas for just $12 and $4 domestic OP cups. The other place with 5 great Kansas City Metro locations.
This Friday only in Old Navy stores. Long sleeve tees are just $5 for adults and $4 for kids. Yep, long sleeve tees are $5 for adults, $4 for kids. But hurry, this deal is one day only this Friday at Old Navy stores. Valid 12/20 in stores and select styles only.
Kansas City is Sean Barber. You know there's nothing easier than to enjoy watching the Chiefs with some wings and an ice-cold Bud Light. And Buffalo Wild Wings is serving up both for every game, all season long. Join me at Buffalo Wild Wings off I-70 in Little Blue Parkway in Independence, Friday, December 20th. I'll be there from 6 to 8 p.m. celebrating the back-to-back Super Bowl champs while eating some wings and drinking $5 Bud Lights. Nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
For more, go to 965thefan.com. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there with information coming at us all day, every day. It's hard to know what to trust, and the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals, so it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/private wealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/private wealth.
Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? You need Jay's Southland Tow Service. They have over 20 years of experience servicing the KC Metro. They specialize in light, medium, and heavy duty, as well as commercial transport and construction equipment. Keep this number handy, 816-779-4869 or southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments, Jay's Southland Tow Service. There's nothing they can't do, so be in the know and use Jay's Southland Tow.
Every piece of land has a story. The Upshaw's right there is with a John Deere 1 Series tractor they call Penny. And this is Shaw.
Shaw stands for skilled hands at work.
When he's not cutting grass, he's cutting hair.
So every person is different, from hair tight to head shape. And I feel like it's the same way in a yard.
From front loader to backhoe, the Upshaws have the tools to DIY all day long. Run with us on a 1 Series tractor and start telling your story. Learn more at johndeere.com/radio.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. Choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
I got hurt in a car wreck. Give me one good reason why I should call DM Law.
How about 3 great reasons you should call us? 1, it's easy. You can hire us today on your phone, or we can come to you. 2, it's fast. We can start helping you today. 3, the results.
DM Law got me $331,000. Mike's got this.
I've got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Welcome to Staples.
Help! My family's in for the holidays and I need gift ideas.
That's why we're here. Staples has amazing deals on everything you need. Photo gifts, laptops, and gaming systems. Even custom holiday cards and shipping solutions to send gifts to the family that can't make it.
Perfect! Have anything for Uncle Frank? I love him, but the guy is never quiet.
Noise-canceling headphones. For you.
You get it.
Unwrap huge holiday savings at Staples. And right now at Staples, save up to $350 on select computers. Ends 12/28, in-store only.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
When your little one has a cold with a fever, try new DayQuil Kids Cold and Cough Plus Fever. It's the daytime coughing, aching, sore throat fever just for kids medicine. DayQuil Kids Cold and Cough Plus Fever offers fast, effective cold and fever relief for kids ages 6 and up with a delicious grape flavor that kids love. New DayQuil Kids Cold and Cough Plus Fever will help them feel better fast so they can get back to the fun stuff quickly. New DayQuil Kids Cold and Cough Plus Fever. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
This report is brought to you by WaysideWaifs.org. Save a life this holiday season. Wayside Waifs has rescued pets from puppy mills, hoarding situations, and found them abandoned on the streets. Give these homeless animals a second chance. Make miracles happen. Donate today, and your gift will be matched. Visit WaysideWaifs.org.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here, Fan Club Friday, 96.5 The Fan, Alex Gold, Drew Nixon. We got Kramer hanging out with us for the full hour, drinking some Bud Heavy. That's the drink of choice today.
You guys have your man card still, apparently not me.
Drew already brought his back. Instead, he took a shot of Fireball, kind of, sort of.
I'm actually drinking Drew's drink right now.
Are you? There you go.
It's amazing. I love this beer.
It's solid.
You really thought that I would like that?
You know, because you're not a light beer guy, so I'm thinking. Like,
I'm not at anything.
I normally don't order Bud Heavy, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's your classic.
If I had the choice, I'm not going light beer. I'm always going to go heavy.
You'll always go with Budweiser?
Yeah. But if it's summertime and I'm at the pool, I'm getting me a Coors Light. But that's just me. I'm all over the place when it comes to
it's definitely seasonal stuff. I mean, in summer, if I'm at the lake, that's when I'm with Drew. If I'm at the lake, if I'm at the lake, if it's not like a Busch Light or Coors Light. It's more. I'll go seltzers and stuff like that at the pool. Like in the wintertime, I don't drink High Noons in the winter.
Like in the wintertime, if it's not Budweiser, I'm drinking Sam Adams. Yeah. Sam Adams.
So if you and I go to a NASCAR race in the spring here in Kansas, then what are you drinking?
Springtime, probably the Coors Light.
913-586-7965.
Guess what I'm having.
7965.
I've got it in the fridge at home right now.
You're having a quirk or something, probably, right?
Oh no, I'm not. Carrington's quirk. Hold on. Carrington always talks smack about me. Carrington drinks quirks all the time.
Yeah, they're good.
I understand. They're also
had a
good.
cork. Never had it.
Very good. Yeah. Very, very good. 913-586-7965. Jay Southland Tow Service text line. We'll get to our game predictions in just a bit. Also, we'll try to sneak in a trash of the day. We didn't get to that. Do you want to talk conspiracies? Is that what you said before the break?
I mean,
is that what you said?
I'm down.
You wanted to talk about the drones in New Jersey. That's what you alluded to.
Yeah.
We briefly touched on earlier in the week. I think it's us. Like, I think it's the United States. Yeah. I think it's U.S. military.
So, listen, what's with the there was a news reporting, like if that's
from like a real outlet
like
or
a real
or,
outlet,
okay.
a real news outlet,
Okay.
like the mom and pop outlets that you would see out there, like say St. Joe, KQ2.
Okay.
That's like that's what I'm talking about.
A real
here.
outlet.
So a real outlet was actually filming whatever it looked like in the sky, like an actual orb you can see right through. So I'm at that point, I'm like, okay, what is going on here? Like my brain's going out. This happened like in Oregon the same week with the drone stuff in New Jersey.
Okay.
So I mean, are we alone? Probably not, but you know, it's fun to think about.
I don't think it's aliens. No,
it could be.
No. And look, I'm not.
Sure, it could be.
I don't think. I'm not even the person to say that aliens don't exist. I absolutely think we'd be naive to think that some other solar system doesn't exist that has some other life. I'm totally with you. I don't believe aliens are driving or hanging out on these drones or controlling these drones. I think it's the United States military and they're searching for something. But
most reports, I've dove into this. I dive into it deeply.
Oh, you're all the way in.
You've gone down the rabbit hole.
So yeah, all these people are saying, stuff's coming out of the water. I'm curious. 97% of the ocean's unexplored.
That was why you threw that Navy comment in there.
So that's exactly why I threw that Navy comment in there. So it could be. I mean, honestly, it could be our Navy just sending stuff up out of the ocean just to go to.
I don't believe it's coming out of the
back
ocean.
In.
I don't buy that.
Never know.
I don't buy that it's coming out of the ocean.
Name one of the Submariner might be out there, hanging out with all his peeps. Aquaman, maybe.
I don't know. Drew, what's your theory?
I don't think I have it. Look, I'm the chill guy. It's not impacting me.
You don't care. You're just like
I really couldn't care. I could not care
much
less.
Fine. Imagine if it was over Kansas City right now instead of New Jersey. Then maybe you would care. What would your reaction be?
I agree with you, Gold. I think it's something that the government's looking into, or they're doing. They're messing around. I don't know. But I'm not
it's
like
bizarre, man. The fact that they won't say anything.
I just enjoy it.
I think it's bizarre, but this is the thing. I also think that I would stress myself out too much if I dove down the rabbit hole. I'd freak out too much.
Oh.
I'd like cause myself some anxiety. So I'm chill. Whatever.
I just think it's fun.
Look, if I die today, I know where I'm going. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm happy with where I'm at. I'd like to live a little bit longer, but I'm good.
Oh, no. Someone said the moon isn't real to Drew. We already went over that once.
No, that's not me.
That's not true. That was his wife.
And I heard,
now,
that's fun. That's fun right there.
There has been a turn.
Gosh.
There's been a turn.
She believes in it now?
She thinks the moon is real, but the moon landing is still fake. Which I think a lot more people fall into that pool where they think the moon is real, but they think the moon landing is fake. I think a lot more people fall into that area of things.
So is it made out of cheese, you think?
Oh, no. I think the moon's the moon,
I think the moon's real.
I'll be honest.
I wish I could go to the moon right now.
If I knew that if you could go to the moon and then come back and know for sure that everything was fine, you'd be able to get out and walk on the moon, I would 1,000% do it. I'd be all about it. All about it.
I think it'd also be cool to wear the astronaut suit to go out there. I mean, that'd be fun.
Would you want to eat like some of the dried up ice cream or whatever, you know?
You can actually buy those at stores.
Tri-packs or whatever they are. I don't know what they're called.
I wouldn't voluntarily have it
freeze-dried,
unless I have to, yeah. Yeah, that's right. They're cool.
You can get those the ice cream sandwiches in those versions over at our local Walmarts. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
I have never tried one.
You seem well-versed.
I'm just saying, if you go down the camping, I love camping, so if you go down the camping section, you'll find them.
Is it really in the camping section? That's interesting.
Actually, it makes sense. It's in the camping section.
Exactly.
The moon is a beautiful planet for the 816.
Thanks, Hudler. Thanks, Hud. All-timer.
I love Rex Hudler.
Rex is great.
He's the guy with the most drops in the world, I feel like.
Yeah.
Or it's, oh, yeah. He always does that on a home run.
Yeah.
Always.
Text line. Top text.
Yeah.
Drew, if you can't drink beer, you're not walking on the moon.
BS. BS.
Someone else says, Drew, you can't handle the Budweiser. You can't handle the flight up to the moon.
There's a lot of you that drink Budweiser who can't handle the local ride at Disney World. I can handle that. Sorry, you're not going to the moon.
Oh, he's mad. He's mad.
Cracking the whip over there.
There's a lot of you that can't handle the local ride at Disney World. Relax a little bit. Jeez.
Oh,
I'll
my
come back
goodness.
with a one-timer every now and then.
Yeah.
Jeez.
All right, before we get to our Chiefs game predictions, let's get to a late trash of the day. We didn't get to it earlier.
Trash of the day.
I mean, the conspiracy theory thing could have been. But no, this involves sports. You guys might have seen this story out of Charlotte. Charlotte Hornets, NBA franchise. So, any sporting event you go to, they have different contests in-game, promotional things, and they might have somebody come on the court and try a shot at a free throw contest or whatever. So, this was a couple days ago. The Charlotte Hornets have since apologized, but basically it occurred during Monday night's game against the 76ers. The post shows the Hornets mascot, who's called Hugo, dressed as Santa Claus, handing a PlayStation 5 to a young fan, who then takes the gift with a mixture of shock and delight on his face. However, the person who filmed this said the child is his best friend's nephew. And Hornets staff later took the PlayStation back from the boy when they were off camera and instead gave him a jersey. Who wants a Charlotte Hornets jersey anyway? So this became a viral story. They took you can't give the kid the PS5, say you want it, and then behind closed doors say, sorry, kid, we're lying. Since the outrage has happened, they've decided, of course, to give him the PS5, and they've also now reached out to the family, and they're going to provide him with a VIP experience to a future game. So all is fixed, but what did you think was going to happen? You can't hand a kid a PS5 and then say you want it and then take it away like that.
I'm sorry, but I much rather want the PS5 rather than having to go back to a Charlotte Hornets game for a VIP experience.
Dang.
Unless it's like a LaMelo Ball experience, I'm cool with that. But no, thank you. Good Lord.
It's a good point.
Because you
guys ever win anything, like either at a game or like what's the coolest thing you've won? I guess I'll ask you guys on the text line too. 913.
That is a good random question.
Sorry.
Jeez.
Yeah, I stole it.
No, that's fine because mine was not that great.
I mean, I want tickets to the game tomorrow. the Chiefs game just yesterday.
Oh, nice.
I did.
Go.
Yeah, I mean,
You going to the Texans game?
I'm gonna go.
Raiders fan.
Yeah, I'm wearing the hoodie underneath everything.
Gross.
It's gonna be cold tomorrow.
It is.
Hold on, you're wearing a Raiders hoodie?
Yeah, I'm going
Disgusting.
Hey,
Gross.
I got to be me.
If you can't be them,
that's
then
a pretty
just
cool thing to win. Drew, what do you have anything? What's the coolest thing you think you've won before?
Coolest thing.
Trying to think. There's two that have come to mind.
I guess this one is recently. So speaking of NASCAR, the NASCAR race was here in the fall.
Oh yeah.
And there was a Meet Bubba Wallace experience, and Bubba's one of my favorite drivers, so I went to go meet Bubba, which is really awesome.
Team Jordan.
Yes, correct. And they had simulators there, and you could enter to win a sim racing wheel. I already have one at home, but
So you won
it's not this one.
So you won the wheel to an actual car, NASCAR, or just a wheel for a simulator?
I won a simulator racing wheel
to use for a simulator or something.
Correct.
Gotcha.
But the part I didn't realize, I thought it was just an entry. So we did our times. Like we got timed laps on an iRacing sim. I guess I had the fastest racing time. I was like 2/10 off of Bubba or whatever. On the sim, who was there?
Hold on.
Wow.
Why isn't Jordan calling your number right now?
Bubba hopped on a sim and was going, and I did some of the sim as well, and I won the sim wheel.
That's really cool. We are also streaming on video. If you want to check it, someone said the camera maybe froze or something. Drew, I don't know if we want to take a look at that.
Oh yeah, you are stuck drinking the Budweiser right now.
There could be way worse freeze frames we've had on the show before, so that one's okay. We'll get to the text. For me, the one that comes to mind, I think I've told the story on there before. So way back when the Xbox 360 was coming out. This was, I don't know, what would that have been, like 06, something like that?
Yes, 05, 06.
Okay. So Mountain Dew had a every 10-minute contest. So on the cap, you would enter the code online. And that code got you an entry for every 10 minutes they were giving away an Xbox 360.
Nice.
It hadn't even come out yet, the console.
Yeah.
Okay? So I collected some of the codes, and I had entries, and I wasn't winning. Now, hey, you have to give me credit for this one. And people will be like, you said you cheated. Look, it allowed you to do this, and I was, 14 years old at the time. They would give you a code if you just gave them an email address.
Uh-huh.
Back then, they didn't have, like, the cross-checking of, like, hey, it's clearly a duplicate or not real. I had a spreadsheet.
Oh, yes.
I made 50 random email addresses, 14-year-old me, and I got 50 additional codes. I won finally by entering one of those codes in a contest.
Yes,
and before the console was out, I won an Xbox 360 and 2 controllers and Madden. And I had it. I was friends on our cul-de-sac came over and played it like 2 or 3 days before it actually came out. That was one of the coolest things I've won, considering the whole
amazing.
Story. Yeah,
because
I'm
a big video game guy. And that's awesome.
That was one of the cooler ones. Someone said they got to throw out a first pitch at a Royals game to their mom on Mother's Day. That's awesome.
That's cool.
That's really neat. Someone else says 2 years in a row, their wife and them won airfare, hotel, and tickets to the Raiders back at the Coliseum.
Sick.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. That's pretty awesome.
Someone else says they won a Mondesi signed baseball bat from 610 Sports back in the day.
Congratulations.
There you go. At the time, it was probably a great thing.
They won a year's supply of ice cream in 2010.
Is that like the free wings? You just get like a pint or a gallon of ice cream a week, or how's that work?
It says they won the ice cream eating contest at the Casey Ice Cream Festival at Crown Center. How much ice cream did you have to eat?
That sounds rough. Oh, my gosh.
That's a lot of ice cream, I think. Anyway, that's the trash of the day. But some of these are good. Someone else says, back when the Royals were not good, one of the coolest things they won, they did the Royals 50-50 charity. The pot at that time was $4,000. The winner would get $2,000. Well, the person sitting in front of them said he and I could split the prize 50-50, so they each walked away with $1,000 each. They're still friends to this day. Some of those 50-50 drawings get up to at a Chiefs game, you're talking about winning $80,000 or $90,000 by the time they cut it in half.
That's how it was. I was at the playoff game here, the first one. That's how much it got to that first night here in Kansas City.
Man.
Yeah.
No, that's a dream of mine to win a 50-50 raffle at a Chiefs or a Royals game. It's a dream. It's a goal. Okay, it's absolutely a goal of mine.
Yeah, you have to go.
Like you're like, well, duh, everybody gold wants to win money. I know, but like I actively am trying.
And the one that you're trying to win is the weeks that you know Boston's coming to town, the Yankees are coming to town, or the Cardinals on that homestand. Then you know that pot's gonna be a little juicy.
Someone says gold. That was stealing. You did not win the Xbox. I was 14.
No, you worked the system.
It
That's
wasn't
why I
stealing.
love that.
They let me get a free code to enter a drawing by giving them an email address. Their system let me make 50 email addresses.
You know, they've actually cracked down on that because
that's what I'm saying. You can't do it anymore. This was
but here's
a long
the thing.
time ago.
They started cracking down on that like less than 5 years ago. Yes. So you could have been doing that this entire time.
Man. Yeah.
Because I did it.
I don't even drink Mountain Dew anymore. That summer, I drank a lot of Mountain Dew. A lot of Mountain Dew.
Which one were you drinking? The
Regular.
Code Red or regular?
I also had like a special Halo limited edition Mountain Dew cans. So
I remember those. Yeah.
Remember those? So I had up until even 5 years ago, I still had two unopened cans of that in like a collector's thing. Of course, it evaporated.
Yeah.
I sold that someone still wanted the unopened can on eBay. I sold it for $300, $400.
Oh, wow.
Just sitting in my closet back in my parents' house. Yeah.
That's awesome.
If there's anybody that deserved the Xbox, it was you, though, because you had the gaming channel on
the gaming
YouTube.
podcast.
You should have. I'm serious. When I heard about that, my mind was like, Alex, you could have done so much more with that.
Back then, though,
especially
it wasn't,
with how YouTube was about ready to pop off in 2009.
I said I was 2 years too early. It was before Instagram and stuff. It could have been my thing. Could have been my thing.
You could have been the Joe Rogan, but for all of gaming.
No.
There are people
for gaming.
Yeah.
Because he started his podcast way early. That's when I'm saying that.
Yeah.
So there's people who you can watch play video games or whatever. They got 200, 300, 400, 500 million subscribers on YouTube.
It's insane. Look at Mr. Beast. He was at the Thursday night game last night.
Yeah, that's right. He has his own show on
making millions and millions of dollars a week or whatever it is. That is, as I said, the trash of the day. Someone said, Gold, tell my Juju story. Carrie, that's my buddy Carrie. I don't know the whole story, man. I don't remember. He won some contest. He got to go fly to Pittsburgh and play Madden against Juju Smith-Schuster in person.
Oh, that's cool.
I can't remember. Oh, he had to make a rap. He made a rap song about Madden, maybe? You can text him. And he won the contest, and he got to play against Juju Smith-Schuster in person when he was back with the Steelers. That's a pretty cool one.
That's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get to our game predictions, Drew.
Yeah, game predictions brought to you by Volkswagen Lease Summit. It's a winter clearance time where the deals have never been better. Check them out at VWLeaseSummit.com.
Chiefs, Texans. All right, you guys can text them into how's this game playing out. This is, I guess, I can't give my prediction for the Steelers game yet, but I kind of want to because I won't be on the air. But there'll be 2 games before I'm back in January. I think the Chiefs are winning tomorrow. I think this is going to be a game which they cover the 3.5-point spread. Hopefully, you got a better number earlier in the week. I think the Chiefs will get after C.J. Stroud. That's the story of this game. Both teams have had issues with their offensive line. The Chiefs' defensive line starting to play better now that Charles Omenihu is part of the pack here. I don't think Hollywood Brown's going to have a huge game, but I'm so excited to see what he can finally do with this offense. He's probably the player I'm most excited to see that's come back from an injury so far this year, and that'll be tomorrow out at Arrowhead. I think the Chiefs win something like 26-21, 27-21.
I think, I don't know if you've seen the score prediction video, my special guest, Matt Quattraro, was able to do that. I agree with him. Yeah. 24-10 seems about right. This defense for the Chiefs is way too good. I think we're going to see that defense we saw last week against the Browns, this week against the Texans, because they know the defense is going to clearly know how actually well Pat is truly. He's not going to explain it to us in the media clearly, but the team knows how much he's going to be mobile. I think that defense is going to step up, shine out, and just force turnovers left and right and get to C.J. Stroud the entire time. So I'm saying 24-10.
Ooh, you think comfortable?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an easy day.
Along the same sort of lines as you, Kramer, I think it would be 24-10. I think the Texans score. I think they score a late touchdown, though. Yeah. It doesn't mean anything. The Chiefs are well ahead. They're in control.
CJ looked bad last week.
He hasn't been as good this year. A lot of it's their own line. He has just not been as good this year because against the blitz, he was a top 5 quarterback a year ago. We said it earlier in the show. He's 31st out of 32 qualified quarterbacks against the blitz. It's been a problem for them. I don't know if it's going to be as comfortable as both of you. I gladly would be that way. I think it's a little closer than that, but I think the Chiefs will win kind of in their typical fashion. The defense, to me, will be the key once again, and then they'll have a little wiggle room when they have the quick turnaround against Pittsburgh. This is the one you just got to have it, man. Yeah. You got to have it tomorrow against Houston, knowing that Pittsburgh and Denver are still on the horizon. Some of you on the text line saying 34-21 Chiefs. Someone else says taking Chiefs on the money line plus 115. My favorite bet, though, if you're asking for the game, I don't know if it's moved since yesterday. I haven't checked. Xavier Worthy over 3.5 receptions.
I love that.
They're also going to give him a little jet touch pass, which counts as a reception. It was over 3.5 minus 120 yesterday.
It jumped to 170 because I got it today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't like it as much at 170.
But I also
over 3.5.
35 yards.
Okay.
So that's that. I mean, if you're going to get 4 receptions, you're going to get 35 yards, right?
Yeah, I would think.
You would, yeah.
That's even money, by the way.
I would think.
It's even money.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. Those are some game predictions. What about the other games? Steelers and Ravens. Implications for the Chiefs because the Steelers could wrap up the division if they get the upset win, which means maybe you get them on Wednesday when they're not is up, if you will, versus they lose. Then the Steelers basically have to win out, I think, to win the division at that point. So huge implications. I think Baltimore's winning. I don't know if they cover the 6.5. I think Baltimore's winning that game, man.
As gross as it is, drinking a Budweiser. I'm gonna say go Steelers. Go Steelers.
Go Browns. Go Browns.
I don't like it.
To the Browns.
To the Browns.
Against Cincinnati this weekend.
Relax.
Yeah, to the Browns.
Relax. Hold on, Kramer. You just said you're supporting me, and now you're toasting to go Browns.
But I mean, I love Jameis Winston. I can never go against Jameis
Jameson's playing.
Okay, then all right. Yeah, no Browns then. No Browns. Wait, DTR's playing?
It is DTR.
DTR time in Cleveland. Steelers, Ravens. Who cares? If I'm being honest.
He says, who cares?
If I'm being honest, the Chiefs are winning out the rest of the season.
just need to lose as long as
it's
to make Kramer
It's
happy,
about to be an epic sports weekend. Starting tonight, we got some college football playoff games. Tomorrow, 3 college football playoff games, 2 NFL games. Seriously, hope you guys have a great weekend. Happy holidays. Drew and I are out next week. Our first
Happy Merry Christmas,
full
everybody.
crew will be back on January 2nd. All right, so we'll have everybody back January 2nd. We'll be, at that point, talking about the final regular season game of the year against the Broncos and everything. But it's been a heck of a year. We appreciate you guys' support. Obviously, seeing you guys send those Odyssey raps, some of you listening ridiculous amounts of time to the station, which is awesome to see the support. So truly appreciate it. Happy holidays. We'll talk to you guys in the new year. Cody's here on Monday, so he'll be talking plenty about the Texans game as well. Kramer, thanks for coming in the studio, man.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Congratulations to you and the fiance, man.
Appreciate
Save
it.
the date in next September. All right, guys. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
This is Cody and Gold on